everyone, and welcome to an international version of Facecheck, episode 27 coming at you. I'm still on the road. I'm currently in the Philippines, vacation, visit family. First time I've been back in 7 years, but that doesn't mean the NA memes don't stop. So we got Loco, we got Dom. Apparently, Loco is higher rated than Dom for the first time in the history of
Okay, only on
No,
one account. All right,
not in the
come on.
first time of history. We actually went back and checked this. Back in season 1, I used to be higher LP than Dom.
Damn, he was higher LP than me with only double the games.
I had 150
Why
ping.
did you guys check?
I had 100.
What was the conversation to make this happen?
Oh, so someone was talking about season 1 ladder because like they were like, Loco, you were never fucking good, so I had to go back and check season 1 ladder. And then I was checking like all the other people, and I was like, oh, Dom also played back then. I remember Dom, so I went and checked to see if I was higher or Dom went higher.
I think I was like ranked he was like 10 LP higher or 20 LP higher. I was ranked like 70. He was ranked 50 or something.
Yeah, there's so many people that are
say,
still playing from like season 1, like Xmitty, Double Lift. I mean, X Special to a certain degree.
Boy.
Twitch Rivals. He had
Pobe.
Boy.
Yeah.
Pobe. Yeah. Crazy.
Scar was the fucking beast of the world. I remember when Scar like got on the scene, his introduction
Katarina.
he was like Katarina one trick, and he went 36-0 in ranked in his first like 36 games of ranked. This was like the season 1 ladder. As soon as they released ranked, he was 36-0 with Katarina, and it was like, who the fuck is this guy? And he instantly became one of the best mid laners in NA just based off that.
It's so weird about Scar because like Scar does not seem very esports in like terms of his personality. He's not really like cloud chasing or like thirsty or like he's just not like an esport person, and he's been the same way for like 10 years. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean he was always the team dad of Dignitas. He was the mature one. He pretty much, we didn't have a manager at the time really. Like we had a manager, but it was an international manager, right? So like the person that was traveling with us to every event was doing everything was just Scara. Scara was team dad, and he was like the one that whenever we had like a rough game, he'd be like, all right, I know you guys are all emotional, but let's just talk it out, like we're gonna win next time. Like he was just like such a good figure to have in esports. I owe so much to just Scara in terms of everything. Like he's the one that took the chance on me with Dignitas and everything. So yeah, Scar's the goat.
Dude, back then like you either had like a manager like player like high or like elimination, or like you actually had like somewhat of a decent manager, or your manager was a player's girlfriend. So Scar is not bad out of the 3.
Yep.
Well, those were very different times for Dignitas, and that's where we're going to start. Three slots still open here for our North American squads. Dignitas holds 2 of them, along with Evil Geniuses, trying to figure out who their mid laner is. Let's start with Dignitas, though. They have their support and jungle role still open. They finally found someone to play for peanuts, as they've overpaid for Huni. Guys, what do you think about the 2 signings that they've had, and what that means now with their 2 positions still they're looking for?
So the 2 signings they have is Huni and Johnson, and the rumor is Frog and Mid, which I do think will be true unless like something really changed in like the last week and a half. So man, for jungle and support, so the jungle rumors are like the usual, like the Acadian.
I think Acadian should be the jungler, 100%. Like he's already played with Froggen before, and I think that Acadian is really underrated right now because of like how the TSM thing ended. Like I've been watching him in houses, and he seems like he clearly has the best communication out of any jungler. Like he's really good at prepping fights, like telling lanes like, okay, like we're gonna go for bottom crab in like 30 seconds, like be ready, like this is probably gonna be a fight. The enemy jungler is on our side of the map. Like he's good about like calling out camp invades and like which timings he wants to go in off of. And yeah, I just think that you could potentially, with Acadian, you could be potentially getting like a top 3 jungler in the league for like a pretty like discounted price right now.
He wasn't announced on TSM Academy either, so he does seem to be like a free agent. TSM made their post today about their full 2020 roster, both LCS and Academy, and Acadian was not included.
Yeah, and you're gonna need an NA jungler for that roster, right? Because you have your imports in Froggen and Huni. I think Huni is definitely an import still. So I feel like who else could you possibly get? It's like Grig, Acadian, it's all the TSM junglers. Speaker was announced TSM Academy, so he's not in the running anymore. Dardock's already on a team. Like what are the other options?
Yeah, I just feel bad for Acadian because of what happened in spring, and then he snaked us in summer, but even then he was still a good player.
Yep.
And
he snaked us?
Yeah, well, he publicly lied on Twitter and called us liars.
Yeah. I
And-
mean, it is what it is. I just think that he didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, what do you do in that situation? It just feels bad for him. And I don't think he wanted like all the. I think that he would rather just take like the L on that situation and pretend like it was all his fault than have like the personal stuff come out. That's how I saw it. So he's just trying to go for the lesser of two evils there. Like instead, unless you want like a bunch of fucking girl drama out there, just take the L and just say that you know, weren't a good enough player.
Yeah, man. The good guys at Facecheck are pro Acadian here. So
What?
Acadian.
Okay.
We're pro Acadian.
Dude, I saw Acadian at TwitchCon. We had like a talk for like an hour and a half or some shit. We just like sat down and talked.
Damn.
And it was weird because I think that originally like he didn't understand that we were trying to like help him or like we're trying to make him sound good. Like we're trying to value his skill and be like, okay, this can't be based off skill. He's actually a good player. At first, he thought that we were just like coming for his head, and then
What?
Over time, yeah, he thought that we were just like kind of like shitting on him.
Oh
So
my god. I kind of had the same talk with him. He said he watched Listen Loco, and then we DM'd each other back and forth about like the situation, and he did seem a little lost. Like I still see him nowadays, like every now and then. Like we're chill. He came over like a week ago.
nice.
What's
Yeah,
your
but-
what's your personal
Right,
Acadian
right.
story, Deacon? Do you not have one? Do you feel left out?
I saw him over at a friend's birthday. You were there, Loco.
Okay.
We saw him at that birthday party with another unsigned North American talent.
Yeah. Oh, but
So,
going back
yeah.
into like the Dignitas thing, other than Acadian, like the names out there would be like,
Contracts.
No, he got to 100,
He's already signed,
100
right?
Thieves Academy.
Yep.
So it'd be like Greg, Acadian, Anda, and Greg are the Acadian. Like those three are the unannounced.
Yeah,
NA
exactly. And if you
junglers.
look at all those players, like Acadian is definitely better than like Anda looked terrible in LCS. Like he got what I think about a year, right? Like he was on FlyQuest originally, and then he was like a sub, and then when Meteos got benched, then he played, and he was like okay during that stint. And then when we saw him in spring, I thought he looked bad again on 100 Thieves. So I've just been consistently not impressed by Anda. And Acadian's had highs and lows, but at least he's had highs, right? Like
Yeah.
there's only been lows for Anda the entire time.
And they had like one good game at Worlds. And
Yep, it was like 15 kills, the highest kills ever gotten by a fucking player at Worlds. And people tried to like hype that up. It's like, I don't give a fuck about him getting a bunch of kills versus a Taiwanese team in a group stage match where you're already eliminated from fucking Worlds and you can just play like it's solo queue. Like, I want to see him perform when it matters in a split, and I still haven't seen that.
One thing that confuses me about Anda, I actually got to play with him for Twitch Rivals. He's someone really good mechanically, but he's not the most vocal or like the most forceful. And then like at times, like he seems kind of, I don't want to say shrink down, but give the ball to someone else. And I feel like someone with his mechanics and his experience should actually be like really assertive. So I think there might be like a personality myth in terms of him being a jungle.
I mean, I think that people just also... I think that people view Anda as like a young player, like somebody who's new to the scene. But what a lot of people don't know is that he played under the name Chorong for a Dream Team as far back as like 2016, 2015. He was playing top lane at the time. So I've like even played like... How long have I been retired for? I played against this guy when I was a fucking pro player. So like this guy has been around forever, and he hasn't really ever shown that he could perform on the stage. So I think, maybe he gets one more chance. Sometimes maybe he's some player that you bring in if everything goes to shit with the current jungler. But for the most part, I don't really think that he's deserving of an LCS spot right now.
Yeah, well, I think you guys made the point there. Loka, you made the point that he's a little bit more passive. If you are a jungler for Froggen, aren't you just supposed to just listen to Froggen, hug mid lane anyways? Like, do you really want to have another dominant personality, or at least someone that's shot calling to kind of not like bang heads with your clear win condition?
If you say that to Froggen, then he'll give you an essay. Oh my god, don't say anything negative about Froggen publicly. And if you meet him, then he just goes on and on about how you're wrong. But in terms of like jungling for Froggen actually has not had the best synergy with junglers. And then a lot of people talk about like Froggen having weak junglers all the time. But there's players out there with weak junglers that makes them work. Like,
well, I mean, also originally on Echo Fox, like Acadian, like that was when Acadian was actually the best jungler in the league for the first like five weeks in 2017. Yeah, he just like hard smurfed, right? Like he was hard 1v9ing every single fucking game with Froggen, and then eventually like it became the Keith letdown where he would just get caught every single game over and over again until they lost. So
that team actually had such good early game, and like they were able to build leads independently with Acadian and Froggen, but they had one of the worst macro ever. That was like such a good early game combined with like dog shit macro. It was abysmal.
Was that the Looper era, or was that?
Yeah, that was the Looper era, baby. Collect that paycheck, Looper.
He was like a mill, right?
Paid. Yeah, it was like 800. I heard 800, but maybe it was a mil.
Yeah, crazy.
Yep. That's fucking. Wait, who was the guy beforehand? That one Korean player that we never heard. It was like KFO or.
Yeah,
what was that guy's name?
KFO. He had like arguments with Solo.
Who the fuck was that guy?
KFO.
Who the fuck is that guy?
I don't even know where he came from. I was a Korean.
Korea, apparently.
Like, well, not from like Korea, because he wasn't a player in Korea.
Yeah, I don't think he was Korea. I thought he was North American challenger for a little while until he just got signed onto that.
No, he had like bad English. There's no way he was like a North American challenger.
Oh shit, Monk and W Froggen's in the chat. Everyone shut up. Yeah, so no, I agree. I think Froggen will definitely be the best mid in the LCS split.
For sure. But yeah, going back to like the Froggen plus jungler angle, I wonder like how Froggen Acadian is now. Both of like kind of like were very stubborn when they were on EchoFox and had their own viewpoint on how they should be playing. Like Froggen just came from Europe after like all the success that he had. And then Acadian came straight from like Solo Q Academy, like finally getting like an LCS shot. Like I'm the top dog now, and like he's actually doing well in LCS. So I'd imagine like both are a lot more malleable now if they do play with each other. So it'll be better than the first time.
Who do you think is the star of that team? Is that still the Huni team if Froggen's on it? Because every team that Froggen's been on has been the Froggen show, right?
Yeah.
Like historically, it was like he was the main player on Golden Guardians. He was the main player in EchoFox. Like he's always been the star of the team. Even when he was like CLG, Alliance, like all the teams he's been on, he's been the best player on the team, or like the player that was supposed to carry. So how does it work when you put him with like another star like Huni?
It's a little weird because like both Huni and Froggen are very like they want the team to play how they want, like, but their play styles maybe can coexist. Like Huni's play style is revolved around counter picks and draft resources, and then him getting a lot of early jungle attention and him snowballing from that and being relevant in team fight. And Froggen actually doesn't require that much draft resource or jungle resource. He might be a little passive in mid lane, he might not roam as much, but his style isn't like a resource heavy style where you need to babysit him a lot. So maybe they can coexist.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I think that in general, Froggen is like a player that is pretty self-sufficient, and even in terms of like draft resources, the reason why he doesn't need any draft resources is because no one contests the champions that he picks. You know, like it's just like, all right, you can play Vel'Koz, Lux, like whatever the fuck he wants, and it will always end up being stable. Like I feel like he's really good at 50-50ing lanes that shouldn't be that easy, and then being able to like outperform, like being like, okay, Vel'Koz is just okay in this lane, but it's good in to the enemy team, and I'm just gonna like farm the lane evenly, and then once we get into team fights, I'm just gonna take over. So I've always had confidence that he'll be fine in lane. You know, I never thought that he was somebody who would get shit on. The only thing that you can say about Froggen is he's not the best when it comes to roaming normally. He's not somebody that will take over like the whole map. He'll normally just like win his lane and like develop an advantage for himself and then show up to team fights.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. I think this is any team that Froggen will be on for the end of time will always be Froggen's team, which is crazy given the fact that we know that they paid Huni, and Huni performs well when he's coddled. So maybe this is, you focused the money and the attention on Huni, but the draft on Froggen and play that way. But it's always been an attitude thing, I think, for Huni to be like, make sure he feels loved. He feels that. But any team that Froggen's been on, it's been the hard
Holy shit. We gotta just coddle these players. Holy fuck. It's like, no, Huni, don't worry. You're still the star. You're still our $1 million child. Like, it's okay.
Speaking of the other role, support, what do you guys think about Aframur or Matt? Because those are the two names I heard.
Yikes.
Yikes?
Yeah.
Matt's, given the experience of Golden Guardian, I think Matt is a good player. And especially,
I do not think Matt is a good player.
He needs a team that he trusts the leadership in, and I think he trusts the resume of Froggen and the gameplay of Huni. I don't know. And then he wants to also feel like he can mentor, and that's what he can do right there with Johnson, right? So he's going to be the leader for Johnson that can usher him through. I think this is actually a good fit for Matt. To in all honesty, it feels kind of like Last Chance Saloon if it's Afro.
Mm-hmm.
But for Matt, this seems like the best possible situation for him to have in his career.
I think I've worked with Matt, and I've had good success with Matt, and I've also had like bad results with Matt. Matt is like pretty emotionally driven player. If he feels like emotionally bought in, and like he feels really good about the team and like his position on the team, and he feels kind of loved, then I see Matt doing well all the time.
Wow, holy fuck. They just need like a therapy session over here in Dignitas. It's like we got to make sure that Huni is like confident and he still like feels like he's the star, and then we have to make sure that Matt is like valued and part of the team, and Froggen has to know that like he's going to be able to like get the champions he wants. It's like, come on, man. Like what the fuck? How is this team going to be good if you need this much like emotional support going into every match? Like they're going to lose one game and I'll just be like crying on stage just absolutely completely deflated. So I don't know,
Fire
man.
Skara. That's how. Get Skara in.
Yeah, right, dude. With his TFT numbers, good luck getting Skara, man.
Give him equity.
Give equity in Dignitas. Is that like a benefit, or like I don't even know if that's a good thing at this point? Like you might just be like taking in debt if you fucking want to be.
Pay for your spot.
Yeah, exactly. You might have to pay yourself at that point. Jesus Christ. No, I mean I just think that I don't know. I don't like players who come in on a high and then just you only see lows after that, right? Like Matt, I swear the best I've ever seen Matt was Spring Split 2016. And after that, I feel like it's just been bad performance after bad performance. Golden Guardians, he was just like on that bottom feeder team for a year. You know, after their coach got fired or whatever, that team just ended up being like probably the worst team in LCS, I would say. Probably the worst team in franchising. I don't remember anyone being worse than 2018 Golden Guardians. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. Like, I'm not impressed. And then he went to Academy. He didn't even look particularly good on TLA. So, I mean, I'd rather have Afro. I feel like the Afro Johnson thing, I feel like Afro's pretty good when he's put with young, talented AD carries. It kind of reminds me of 100 Thieves 2018 when he got put with Cody Sun, where it's like, okay, Johnson's probably going to, like, he's a solo queue beast, right? The way you become a solo queue beast as an AD carry is you're really good at laning and you know how to, like, farm and deal damage late game. So being able to like put him with somebody like Afro who's experienced that will be able to like kind of control and like harnesses Johnson's ability, like I feel like that has a much higher chance of working out than putting him with like Matt, somebody who I don't know if Johnson would respect right off the bat or like hasn't really had a good career, definitely not a career that's been trending upwards. I don't know.
So I have close friends on 100 Thieves, and from what I heard of the situation, it seems like Afro and Prolly took so much of the blame when a lot of things weren't their fault. I'm sure like some of it was their fault also, and yeah, the community perception on Afro and Prolly has just turned 24/7. So I wouldn't mind seeing Afro
24/7 turned 24/7.
Oh my god.
God damn.
I'm not on a lot of sleep. I'm not on a lot of sleep.
Okay.
Turned 180 on them. So I would love to see Afro get a second shot with a new AD carry, also like a fresh start.
Yeah.
Man, I can't imagine like we're talking about the whole situation regarding Dignitas getting Afro, and in combination with that, like what happened at 100 Thieves and allowing this to happen. Like if you told me in 2018 100 Thieves would bring back someday Cody Meteos and not Afro Prolly, well, I would have been shocked.
Yeah.
I mean I agree with your points, but that also sounds expensive. Matt just came from Academy. He's not gonna pull.
I mean, look, you just spent 2.3 million dollars on your fucking top laner for 2 years. Like, if you spent all your money on that player and you have nothing left, like I don't know what type of management that is. I feel like they can at least like pay for a contract. I mean, Johnson isn't gonna be super expensive. If they get a Cadian or whichever jungler they get, that's not gonna be super expensive either.
You're paying. You're paying extra. You're paying a premium for Froggen. Froggen is a Danish mid laner that has the stats to back it up.
I'm not sure how much Froggen would be worth. I actually have no idea.
So the thing about the premium thing is Dignitas is actually in a really good spot in terms of negotiation now, even though community perception is dog shit for them.
Yeah.
Because they're in a spot where they're able to tell players, you either play for us or you don't play in LCS. So there's no one to negotiate against for Dignitas. Like these players can't go anywhere else if they want to play LCS.
I agree, and that's why they're negotiating with these players and not anybody else that they could have signed beforehand.
I mean, it just shows. I think that it's crazy because if you look at Golden Guardians roster, it's like, damn, you had options to get these players, and instead you're going with like Keith McBrief support. Like that is like what your mentality is. It's like, how fucking cheap are the Golden Guardians? Like, what the fuck? You're supposed to be backed by one of the best NBA franchises, that like one of the richest NBA franchises, a winning dominant organization. And if you look at the Golden State Warriors, right? They're not afraid to fucking pay people to play for their team, right? Like they fucking have bunches of people on max contracts. So how the fuck do you get into the league scene and you're like, oh, you know what? We're just gonna have the most budget team in fucking history. We're gonna get like a fucking cheap ass mid laner, Golden Glue. We're gonna trade in our fucking academy like 80 carry. We're gonna make him into a fucking support. He's not gonna be expensive either. Your imports are fucking Closer and FBI. Like those are not gonna be expensive imports either. It's like, how fucking cheap? Like, is the whole Golden Guardians roster less than Hooney's fucking 1 year contract? Is that the situation that we're in? I think there's a chance that it is.
Haunter probably eats up like what, 600, 500, and after that, like it'll probably get split. There should be some players getting 200, but it should be close to it. Their overall roster budget at 1.5 or 2 mil.
1.5. That's so little in this day and age to be putting on a fucking team. Like, how are you ever gonna win with that little money being put into the team? Like, fucking look at TL's team. Like, I don't believe that TL is less than what, 4 million.
Yeah.
I heard Jensen's contract is pretty fucking big. I'm pretty sure he renegotiated after this year. I think he was on like a C9 contract last year, and then this year it's like he could renegotiate for more money.
Oh, the whole C9 contract angle, that's something we should talk about. Wait, did I mention on this show regarding the C9 Discord drama? No. Oh shit.
Go for it.
Okay, so, well, before we go to the C9 shit, are we done on Dignitas? Anything else you guys want to mention?
Ole, Huhi.
Ole and Huhi. Oh, Ole can't. Ole's an import. Huhi isn't, but Ole can't.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else? I can't think of anyone off the top of my head. Feels bad, man.
So, then I guess we're done with Dig. Well, I guess we're done with Dig.
Sorry, Huhi.
Yeah. Oh, one thing that was interesting about Dignitas was their assistant coach Artemis said he's leaving Dignitas, and he's going to be going to a different team. And Dignitas, I think it was on Reddit or Twitter, they talked about how it's just natural progression of Artemis's career. Like, you're an assistant coach, we already have a head coach, so we're gonna go be a head. He's gonna go be a head coach somewhere else. EG announced Irene, and TSM announced Peter. There's no way for Artemis to go and be a head coach anymore. So I'm not sure where the fuck he's going, unless he's going to Europe or something. Like, he can't be head coach anywhere else. So either Dignitas Twitter or Dignitas like social person is wrong, or Artemis is just going to be an assistant coach somewhere.
I just don't I don't know, man. Whenever I saw clips of him, I never was super, he just seems like the type of guy that is trying to give pep talks and stuff. And that always really, I when somebody who's not super in the team environment starts giving pep talks and stuff, it always makes me kind of cringe. It reminds me of that guy from, I think it was 100 Thieves before. There was just a random person they would always have in their heist videos who would just be giving pep talks out of nowhere. He'd be like, all right, guys, heads up. Even though we lost, we can get them next time. What's important is that we stay determined. We stay tenacious. We focus on our mistakes. No, not Nate Shot. There was another guy that would always be with them.
Yeah, that other guy.
I don't even know the guy's name. He wasn't even part of the fucking team. He was with Nate Shot though, and he would give these random pep talks in 2018, and I had no idea who the fuck this guy was. Why is this guy giving your pep talks? That's how I felt about Artemis to some degree. It wasn't as much as that situation, but it was just weird.
Help us out, chat. Who is this guy?
Was he bald? Was he bald or not?
That guy was on Prolly team as a psychologist or something. Yeah, I don't know who it was.
Okay.
Some dude.
David.
Oh wait, what did he have a beard? Did he have a beard?
I think so.
Did he look like Santa Claus?
No.
Okay.
No. Let's see. I don't know. I can find it. Okay. We can play the fucking clip eventually or some shit. Probably not on this show because Digon's not hosting. But
did he have a brown beard? I
think so.
A short brown beard. He's he's Tyler's friend, Daniel. He's the guy that used to be in Overwatch. It's Matt. His name's Matt.
If he was bald, then that wasn't him.
Yeah, no, bald.
That's not bald.
Bald is John Robinson. That's the president. Jackson is like the good-looking guy with like hair like flipped up and like a strong jawline. Like he's their like he's one of the founders. He's the biz dev. And then there's Doug, who was their sports psychologist later on. And before Doug, they had a guy named Matt, who was Overwatch. He came from like Overwatch, Valiant, all that crew, and then he was like the sports psych on P1, I think, and then he went over to 100 Thieves.
Yeah.
P1
so whoever the fuck that guy was,
Yeah,
like I just remember him
Matt.
giving like pep talks in the show, and it just seems so weird. It's like, wait, you have your coach right there, you have Nate Shot. It's like, why is this guy the one that's delivering this information? And it just you could tell by the reactions of the players that they weren't all bought in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I feel like you can look at a player and be like, is this guy like respecting what the person's saying? Are they looking at the fucking coach when they're saying that shit, or are they just like looking down? They're like on their phone. They're just like, yeah, dude, whatever you say. Yeah, keep the mental strong, like some shit like that, you know? Like, I don't know. I just felt like Artemis kind of played into that same like role where it's like, okay, man, whatever you say. Like,
Artemis seems
Yeah,
like one of
Artemis
those
is valid
people
what he actually is.
that like started coaching in esports and that like really loves his job. Like there are some coaches that coach that really fucking love their job, and he's one of those.
Yeah, Artemis. I mean, Loco, you got to work with him over for a couple episodes of Listen Loco. I got to work with him on Collegiate, and he was well spoken and had put in time as well. He was part of Optic Academy's coach regime. God, what was it called? Infinity Sports, whatever
Yeah,
their
Infinite, yep.
training center of talent was. And so he was able to get himself out of that. So he's been doing it for a while. And it's not like he didn't know what he was talking about. It's just since I think he shot up so quickly and then they found success so quickly, you know, his name was in the spotlight a lot and his face was in the spotlight a lot. I think a little bit more than what it deserved. And so I think that's why we think that. I think he does know what he's talking about, and he is more poised to be a head coach than a side, you know, assistant coach.
I just feel like head coaches aren't even like super valuable in this day and age. I feel like you need like a good strategic coach, and then you need like a good sports psychologist, and then your head coach is just kind of like the one that determines like your plan for things. Like, okay, how are you going to approach the week? How are you going to scrim? That type of stuff like that. But most of the head coaches I've worked with, it seems like the like strategic coach is the one that actually controls the direction of the team and is like the one that's valuable, because the head coaches like aren't really like the only head coach that I've seen that I'm like, damn, this guy actually does something. And I know Logan's gonna probably fucking hate this, but it's gonna be Weldon. I feel like Weldon is somebody who actually like has a good mentality on how to like shape a team and get a team to like all be on the same page, which is in my opinion what the job of the head coach is, to like make sure that all players are working together and like going towards the same goal.
No flame. But why not Loco? I mean, you got to experience Loco's coaching.
I always felt like Loco was a strategic coach. Like even if he was titled as head coach, like the head coach in this day and age, it's different, right? Like the head coach is the one that
I see.
Like I would say that Loco would also probably work better as a
strategic coach.
Yeah, for sure, because like the head coach is supposed to be the one that's like not breaking keyboards and stuff and be like super like calm, cool, and collected, and be like, you know, the one that you're supposed to look to and look up to and be like, okay, he's the one that's gonna like give us the like proper direction. Where I felt like Loco was kind of like he's just like the same age as the players too, where like most of these head coaches are significantly older.
I diversified my bonds and I learned new skills as I became more and more experienced in head coach. But I get what you mean. Most head coach, that's like the traditional role in like other sports too, right? Head coaches more so like run the team than actually run practice and like run like strategic parts. Like they aren't the X's and O guy.
Yep.
Yeah. So I guess Artemis is not gonna find home. Maybe collegiate. Maybe he goes.
That makes no sense. What, like that's a downgrade. Like he was an assistant coach for LCS to go to collegiate and be a head coach. That's a downgrade for him in terms of probably salary. Also, maybe not salary, but
yeah,
also
no, that's what I was
salary.
thinking. Maybe salary.
Definitely not salary.
Maybe career wise.
There's some big schools that have varsity programs that have scholarships and all of that stuff that are looking for those types
Robert
of
Morris
people.
University. They were such a great.
What,
for
200?
esports.
What's the head coach for collegiate like? What, at max like 300?
No, there's no way. 300?
No way.
No.
That's
Then
way
what?
too much.
200.
I would say at max.
Mhm.
I would say at max 200, but there's no way as an assistant coach you're getting paid 200.
Yeah.
From what he did last year, he could probably push us 200 for this year.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
The thing is, like, I don't think that wasn't Artemis with Clutch from the beginning?
Yeah, he was their academy coach.
Yeah, exactly. So he was with them from like I felt like the change with Clutch came when ThinkCard came in. Like that's when like the team actually started doing that Rift Herald play, right? It was like, oh, I thought that was ThinkCard's thing, based off like the stuff that they released, based off the content they were showing. It seemed like he was the one that kind of like gave them a direction of like, hey, let's play like this, and then they started actually winning games. So I never really attributed much of Clutch's success to Artemis. I attributed it mainly to like ThinkCard coming in and being like a decent strategic coach.
Okay. Now, then let's move on to the C9 drama, and then we can talk about the other stuff as we need.
Yeah.
So the C9 drama is, do none of you guys check their subreddit? So
no. What do you think? I'm on the Cloud9 subreddit?
Okay.
How many people are on the fucking Cloud9 subreddit? What the fuck?
It seems like actually a decent amount. Their subreddit is pretty active, but I think it was like a week ago.
There's 30,000 people. What the fuck this subreddit? I've never been here before,
Okay.
and I will never go again.
So
Continue.
on C9 subreddit, Jack is actually really vocal there, and he posts there a lot. And recently, someone close to Sneaky mentioned that Sneaky was having a hard time like finding a spot due to the buyout being really high, and like Jack's like driving up the prices for his buyout. And Jack actually replied in the subreddit and said it would be unfortunate if someone close to Sneaky was saying lies and like causing discourse amongst like the community or the team. And I'm like, oh my god, like this cannot be real life. Like owner and someone like close to a player like fighting publicly or like shading each other publicly on Reddit. Like, and then later on, someone close to Spence Guerin actually came out on their Discord also, and we're talking about C9 and paying their players. So yeah, it was pretty messy, and I'm surprised that the main League of Legends subreddit actually didn't get a whiff of it.
I mean, I've always thought that C9 has been it would make sense to me that C9 was on the cheaper side, just based off like all their moves, and then it feels like they try to make the most money off like developing players and selling them to other teams. So like if you look at just all the players they've sold, right? They like Golden Glue, Spence Guerin, Zazul, like they're shelling out like, you know, they're shelling out money for like Vulcan's contract, right? That has to be coming from somewhere. Yep, Kumo as well, like.
So the thing about
definitely as well.
Thing about the contracts and why C9 can charge so high for the buyout is they can tell the other team, yo guys, like he's gonna be on a 2-year contract and you still have a year left, and look at his salary. It's gonna be
it's
cheap,
low.
Dirt cheap for like this guy's market value, so pay us a lot of buyout, and they can do that.
Every single player that they signed this season, 3-year contract. Every single player from last season, 3-year contract. So you kind of lock them in, and then you have them packaged so that you send them somewhere else they don't maybe want to be for 2 years at least, and then you can work with that. So when Smoothie moved, I think Smoothie was the last player that they shipped out that wasn't on a 3-year contract. We got contracts at Golden Guardians, and if you look in the database, he was not on a 3-year contract. And 3-year contract seems to be that golden number, because if you do want to move them, you can get extra value for them having that contract there, and you backload their contract so that when they move to that other team, the other team pays the big chunk of money.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like all the players on C9, they're really good at like getting players at like a low price and then driving up the value while they're in NA and then selling them afterwards. It's like, do you really think when Niski came over from Splice, they're like paying him like $600K a year? Fuck no, I don't believe that Niski's on some $600K a year, $500K a year, like anything like that. Like it's like you get these players that are good for a low value, and then you drive up the price, and then maybe in 2-3 years, once it's like, okay, Niski's contract is up, and then he starts like, it's like, okay, well, I'm somebody who is top 2, top 3 mid laners in the region for 2-3 years. Then he suddenly becomes worth that amount of money. I don't think C9's gonna re-sign him. They're gonna be like, all right, fuck off, like go to whatever shit, and then he'll just end up on like EG or some shit, and he'll just be like getting paid by an organization like that. So
C9 does do a good job of like improving the players though. When Niski was coming over, I never thought he'd be like top 2, like top 3 mid laner, but arguably he was the second best mid laner. Like if you didn't like him that much, then he was like the 3rd best last year. So
yeah, I had him second, I think.
Yeah, I think we had him second,
but I had Bjergsen first. So I had Bjergsen, then Niski, then Jensen, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, C9. What do you guys think about the? Oh, go ahead.
The most valuable asset to all of that is the system. So that's Reaper, that's West Rice, that's Rapid Star. Like those are the guys that are making the money right now for Cloud9, I believe. That allowed Jack to sign low and sell high.
Yeah. And also I'm pretty sure like a low part of their contract had to do with like them getting equity in the team, right? Or RSU, whatever you want to call it, like the low like them getting very, very small amount
and are they getting
equity.
like fucked on that or something?
Yeah,
like...
they're getting fucked on that where they got caught by Riot and they have to repay the players.
So Niski is literally in the chat talking about how he's getting just paid in Red Bull and Pumas. Nice, excellent.
And C9 stocks, they got value. They were one of the highest valuated orgs from Forbes. So when the stocks get sold back to C9 forcefully, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be fucking so meaningful.
Stocks, baby. Give the players the money, man. You know, again, think about the whole Cloud9 franchise and how it's built upon. How it was built upon 5 guys. It was built upon 5 guys 6 years ago, and since then it's turned into, you know, what it is now. Again, one of the most recognizable, biggest esports brands in the world, and you're just giving the D to the players in terms of salary. It's nice that some of the guys, unfortunately, it's not the original 5 guys. Sneaky gets some here, yeah. But some of the guys will get some money back there.
I mean, so fucking like you gotta respect Jack. He straight up hustled that shit. Like he was working for fucking TSM behind Reggie, and then he just ended up like C9 didn't know what to fucking do. Quantic had no clue what to do when they got into LCS. They're like, whatever. You seem like old. You take control of this shit.
So
and then Jack just exactly. And then Jack just like took over that shit. He's like, all right, like they hustle, man. Like Jack's a good business.
Okay, so I know the old Quantic owner, so I can actually talk on this. So he bought the entire roster for like 10,000, and he kind of like strong armed the guy. The players were like, yeah, we don't want to fucking play for you. We're gonna go play with Jack. And then Jack's like, dude, like I'll pay you 10,000. Can you go fuck off? And then the guy like accepted the 10,000 and he fucked off.
Damn. And then wait, wasn't that guy like in some bullshit? I remember the Quantic. There was there was a bunch of bullshit afterwards.
So afterwards, like he wasn't paying his players, and he was getting like the money that the StarCraft player was winning to pay our salary, the League of Legends team. So the StarCraft player wasn't getting paid. So yeah, that guy was a scumbag. I'd much rather have Jack than that dude.
Yeah, exactly. That guy was he just wasn't a smart businessman. Like he ended up like getting like 5 washed up Koreans and putting them together on a team. They couldn't even qualify for LCS. Like, Jesus, this is pathetic.
What rank were you season 3 logo?
I was challenger. Have you ever been challenger, Daniel?
No, man. I've never been a professional player. What's crazy That's not my job, loco. I look good, sound good. What about you, dog?
I get views.
I just remember like a bunch of those players were super hyped up. They're like, dude, this guy Apple, he's gonna be like the beast of the world. He's gonna be the best fucking top laner that we've ever seen in the world. And then he just never did shit. He like ended up on some like B tier fucking Korea team in like the amateur league, and then he got like 1 shot, didn't look good, got kicked again. I don't know.
I will say everyone in Quantic other than me and Wong kept playing pro, and they all got starter spots in LCK teams. Oh, except for Suno. Apple got a starter spot. Gunza got a starter spot.
Suno went to like Turkey.
Yeah.
Like in like season 5 or
Turkey, Brazil, and then Europe. Prime got a starter spot. They all got starter spots. Like we had good players. Like,
and then they all just ended up being bad though with their starter spots. It's like, okay, that was nice that we saw what you were made of. Now get the fuck out of here and go to the
Gunza was okay.
You were just bad.
Okay. All right.
Oh, going back to the whole C9 thing, like, what do you guys think about, like, the drama kind of being public and, like, people close to the players coming out and talking about all this?
I would have to see exactly, like, who it is. Like, who are these people that are talking about it? Is it, like, Sneaky's girlfriend being, like, on Twitter, like, they should have paid my man? Like, I don't know.
You know, you're saying it as a meme, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, but I assume that it would be, like, somebody like that. Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
Okay, well, like this. Yeah, I wouldn't take that too much. Okay.
But like the ownership actually like publicly talking about it on their Reddit, like that's the whole issue though. Like this actually turned into something beyond just like a girlfriend saying something on Discord. Like this actually turned into like the owner addressing it on Discord. Like that's why I was so shocked.
Well, I mean, maybe there is some truth to it, or it picked up enough traction that he felt like he needed to respond.
There was a lot of traction about the whole Sneaky getting fucked over thing. Like, I'm not even sure if he really got fucked over. Like, the teams really want him, and like what were like kind of the conditions of the deal. Like, that's something that's not public, so it's hard to make a judgment on. But yeah, there was like a huge like a party of like C9 fans, of Sneaky fans that are like, not my C9, like fuck this shit, like you snaked and like fuck Niski, fuck Licorice, fuck Jack, like fuck everyone that's
No
like
way,
Sneaky.
dude.
There
People
was
really
fan base.
saying that
There's
about
definitely a fan base that's saying that. You don't think it's true, dude?
I don't think it's a majority enough to respond to. That's what I
Oh
think.
my God,
Like, if you're not a fan of Licorice and the way that Niski's played and carried this team, and you're more upset that you're letting go an underperforming member for someone else equal, especially in terms of like clout and in terms of ability, then you got to get over yourself. I just think it's a little extra there for Jack to come on in and just like smite down.
I just feel I don't know, man. I feel like that's just such a weird like upgrade. I feel like if it was like a solid up, like Sigi underperformed last split, right? For sure, he had a bad season. Just in terms of like people, like obviously I remember just like hearing his stuff. It's like, no, it was like team problems. Like we had it's like, really team problems? You went 0-7 in lane as Cassiopeia bot lane at Worlds to like Xayah Rakan. What the fuck you mean team problems? Like you literally walked up into fucking Rakan W and got murdered 7 times in 13 minutes. Like what the fuck? How does this have anything to do with anyone but yourself, right? It's like I didn't buy any of that shit. Like I think he definitely had a bad split, but
Hashtag my C9.
You know what the worst part
but
was?
it's like Sven sucked too, dude. Sven's like out there inting fucking titles away. Like it's just not the upgrade that you want. Like if you're a C9 fan, you're not. Thank God we got Sven. Like this is probably the lowest that anyone's ever came into a season on Sven, right? Like he was like best in the West, 80 carry. Like even last year, it was like, oh well, he was pretty good. Maybe if you just get him, like Mithy was the dirty inter of that lane. But now you have, like
you know he is enter.
Yeah, now you know that he's an inter too, and it's like, I mean, I guess he played a little bit better than Sneaky, not much though.
The other weird thing about the whole Sneaky thing that you were talking about is Sneaky came out and he was talking about, oh, all the people that criticize me, they're wrong. Travis, he's wrong. Mark, he's wrong. They said I should be playing in Academy. Is there like an Academy broadcast they can go do instead? I'm like, Sneaky, dog, like you are playing bad. And Sneaky fans like just bought into that and they're like, see, Sneaky's not playing bad. Did you hear what Sneaky said? He said he's not playing bad.
He said he's not playing bad. It's like if you go to my stream and it's like shit, Dom said he's not washed up. He like fuck that's not how that shit works, dude. You gotta fucking go out there and prove. Like if he gave some like facts, like sure, but you can't just use that as your fucking defense. Like you have to actually be like out there, like you have to be out there with fucking some numbers to back it up, or like some games to back it up. Like I don't know, man. I watched him int lane for a full split. I don't know if that's just a mistake.
Do you think he should
Remember,
be starting?
He went back and put out a video about the Sneaky lane beam, and him and Zazel stats. They're like, we're right in the middle of the pack in terms of like laning prowess.
I think there's, I think there's players.
Player on a middle of the pack team. You're Cloud9. You're supposed to be at the top of your shit.
I mean, I think there's players that he deserves a spot over, like FBI. I think he had a better split than FBI. I thought FBI looked very bad last season, and I'm an FBI supporter. I thought FBI was going to be a beast, but based on like what we saw, FBI did not play well last split. There could be an argument made for Sneaky starting over Johnson, and then like having Johnson as like an Academy AD carry and potentially like trying him out and like competing for a spot there. I don't think that it's strictly like he doesn't deserve a spot in LCS. I just think that like he definitely doesn't deserve a spot on a top team in LCS next split.
Oh well.
The fall of almost all of the former Cloud9 members. You drop from starter on Cloud9 to now like kind of a guy on FlyQuest before you fall out completely, and then you're playing support for Optic.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dude, the thing about one thing I didn't mention about the whole Sneaky Afremu angle and the Froggen angle that's actually really important with Dignitas. Like I talked about why it's good for the team. Like Dignitas can strong arm them and then be like, if you don't play for us, like you're not going to be playing in LCS. But I forgot like these players actually have leverage on their end also. They can be like, okay, fuck you, you're going to pay me pennies. I'm just going to go stream. And they can all make full-time living very easily. Like Froggen, Sneaky Afro, all very beloved. Like they're not in this like corner of LCS or nothing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'd be worried if I was Afro. Sneaky's fan base is fine. Froggen's fan base is like fine too. I would be kind of worried if I was like Afro going straight to streaming. I think he would see a pretty decent pay cut.
He'd still be like a 1K, 2K Andy, and he can grow from that.
I don't know.
1K, 2K Andy. I mean,
I'm a 1K
then,
Andy.
like,
I know that's why I'm flaming it. Like, well, of course.
We remember he was one of the biggest content creators for a while too back in
yeah, it just the dynamic of his stream like changed so much. Like he used to be just this super active personality, right? Like he was the fucking support is so easy, like popping off in lane. Like he said more words in that 140-second clip of like support is so easy than he says in like an hour of streaming these days. I swear to God.
He's chill. He's gotten older.
So I'm old as fuck. I'm still flaming kids. Like that's a part of streaming. Like, this is what you do.
Afro doesn't do crack. That's his difference.
I mean, we don't know that. Like, what the fuck?
Okay. All right. Daniel, take us to the TSM stuff. Enough about this.
All right, TSM stuff. Don't have that on here. Go for it.
Okay. TSM made their 2020 announcement. About their
2020 roster.
Yeah, they made their full 2020 roster announcement. So their LCS team we knew, and then the new information is their head coach is going to be Peter Zhang, and then they actually announced their academy too. I think I remember it from the top of my head. It's Dokla, Spica, Cat Evolved. What's the AD? Lost. Lost. Yeah. And then support is their old one, Treat.
That's actually really fucking good. That should just win Academy straight up. Like that's a decent fucking roster.
So Pars was talking about on a separate interview how he wanted to get a strong Academy team because it really allows you to practice a lot better. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. Like your Academy is really strong and you can practice a lot better, but you're not really developing new talent. But luckily for this TSM team, this team is like young enough and there's enough promising players where they do get the best of both worlds, where they'll be strong and actually develop talent, and it's not just full of veterans.
Yeah, I can see that roster being good.
Yeah, I'm
say Cat Evolved?
to see Jackie Boy. Yeah, Cat Evolved in the mid lane. This is a real shot for him on a team where he can learn behind somebody in a structure where he's going to get the fire early. Like this is good.
Yeah, I'm just surprised that TSM took the risk on him. Like, because there's a lot of, I mean, we said it like before, right? Like, I mean, we alluded to, I mean, Metaphor is like losing fucking a spot based off tweets where he said like the N-word like 6-7 years ago. And then it's crazy to me that Cat Evolved just got dropped from Radiance like recently. And there was all those claims on Reddit about him saying it like, you know, a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And TSM just picked him up. I feel like TSM would be like afraid of taking that type of risk, you know?
I don't know. Is it that bad? Like these guys are like
saying the N-word? Yeah, probably, dude.
Like years ago.
I mean, I don't know. I definitely don't think Metaphor should be like losing spots over it. Like it's 6-7 years ago. Like what are you supposed to do at this point? Like what can he possibly ever do to get over that hump, right? But
so my thing is like, it's not like these guys are like racist or like they're going to like they're like.
Yeah, I mean, we can't know if they are or they aren't. Like,
it's more so like you're a child and like you're a gamer and you want to be edgy and you say dumbass stuff, and that's like the cool like dumbass thing to say, and you want to be edgy as possible, and that's what they're doing, like being edgelords. I don't think these guys are like secret racists. I just think they're incredibly dumb people when they were younger.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they are or they aren't. Like, I don't fucking like I would assume that they aren't, but you can never really know. I'm like, I don't care about that at all. I just think that it's weird that if you're getting dropped from a fucking academy organization. I know that Radiance's whole thing is supposed to be respect and like the cheerfulness and positive gaming and all that stuff, but
that was a good sales pitch.
Yeah, it's just crazy to me that TSM would take a like an edgy player like that.
And they took Dardoch. They're all about risks nowadays.
Yeah, but Dardoch was like edgy toxic, not like edgy racist. And especially like Dardoch, like it's also an academy player, right? Like none of these teams really give a fuck about academy from what I've seen. Like academy is just like a whatever type deal. So it's weird that people would be willing to take like a risk for an academy player.
What do you think about him ghosting his Twitch rivals team?
I don't know. Jack's just an egomaniac. Like I swear to God, Jack just thinks he's like the best fucking mid laner. He just thinks he's so good. I think he has like a lot of talent. He's definitely like somebody that could be good, but he's really fucking coin flip. He's like one of those players where he goes into lane and it's like, well, he's killing somebody or dying by like 3 minutes, you know? Like it's one of those types of situations where I feel like maybe this type of environment is the best for him because he should have like respect for the players around him, right? Like Dokla was LCS for like a year and a half or something, maybe even 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
Yeah, 2 years. And then you have Lost, who was pro in OC for a while and like got LCS time last year. I don't know, just like he's the newest player on that team, right? Like it's either him or Spica, even though Spica, I guess, got some time now. He only played like one split of Academy and then a couple weeks of LCS.
I feel like after listening to a lot of coaches, this is the type of player you would want to have. This is a mechanical guy that you can at least try and mold, right? There are some things that you can teach and some things that you can't, and it feels like he has a lot of the things that you can't teach, and then you teach him how to play the game, right, Loco?
But it depends on the ego too. If you really have like an ego, and especially the thing is like your ego is supposed to get curved as like you're growing up and like being a teenager, like going through a coaching process in like a normal
He's 17.
sport. Yeah, but like that's like
18 now, right?
18 now. 18. Sorry.
That's like the worst part. Like when you're an 18-year-old and you don't have like someone holding your ego back, and like you're either on a small time team where they have to treat you really well and you just get to get away with everything, or you're just in solo queue destroying people. Like, cause you don't get reached out to at a young age, like you just double down on the ego and double down on the viewpoint. Like, I'm the best. So I'm not sure where he's at in terms of mentality, but I don't hear a lot of good things about him.
Damn, you don't hear a lot of good things about him. Shit. He's good at Katarina. Like, if you can be good at that champion, as dog shit as that champion is, maybe you can be good at something else.
Well, do you hear good things about him, like outside of his skill? I hear really good things about his laning, but regarding like mental, I do not hear good things at all.
Yeah, his mental is trash. But that's what happens when you just fucking only play solo queue. Like, just put any player in only solo queue for 3-4 years straight, they're gonna fucking lose it at some point. Like I literally will get into a fucking Grandmaster game. My mid laner will die once in 2 minutes, and I'll be like, okay, so you want to open or what? Like, we're gonna play this one out. Like what is actually happening here? You know, it's just what happens. Like, it just ruins you.
I think.
Oh, you actually worked with him.
With the experience on Radiance, like he had a full veteran roster there.
And they still didn't do as good as you thought.
Was he a little shithead?
What?
Don't defend him, Daniel.
What?
Was he a little shithead?
Not at first. I would say
but he turned into a little shithead.
At first, yes, and then he fit in, no, and then they won everything. Like there was no more competition. And Radiance was the best team in Academy all of last year, and they were crapping on was it UCI? They were crapping on every single team, and then
amateur.
They ran out of stuff. So I feel like that's kind of like maybe the path there. So now that they're in the LCS, or now that he's in the Academy system, where you're playing against the other franchise teams, the level of competition is higher, and there's always that potential of moving up onto another team, because there's no way that he's removing Bjergsen. He's got to be on his best behavior and really learn from it. That's what I think.
Yeah.
If you're not willing to change, like when you don't need to, like just because you're put in a situation doesn't mean you'll change. That's kind of my experience from like working with players where they're like, I'll change, I'll do this, and then they never actually do it. Like when I'm LCS, I won't do this. Like
I think that you worked with like specific cases that shaped that though. Like you're
that's exactly
you're dealing with fucking Dardoch, all right? Like Dardoch was just saying like I couldn't have predicted that either.
Solo.
Like
who are some of the other toxic
Phoenix
kids that you played with?
Yeah,
Phoenix.
I mean, Piglet. Like, yeah, you just dealt with like 5 psychopaths. Like that just is what it
Young
is.
Bjergsen.
Unlucky.
Yeah.
But I mean, young Bjergsen was like at least like he had an ego, but
He
it
was a
made
carry.
sense.
Yeah, he carried the fuck out of the team.
He's like just the
but
1v9 player.
Bjergsen doesn't do that now. It's just at the very beginning when you start your career and you shit on everyone and you're the guy, you start there and then you get chopped down a little bit and you work your way on through it.
But Bjergsen's an exception, Daniel. For everyone to make like the kind of maturity like rise that Bjergsen did is not like normal and should not be the expectation.
I mean, he was so abnormal with just his viewpoint. Like Bjergsen was one of the people that actually he starts every, including next, the same way. He actually does whatever he can in his mind to try to win worlds. Like he actually wants to win worlds, and a lot of people say that they're like yeah dude, I want to win worlds. It's like, okay, but you're fucking playing like WoW only during like the fucking playoffs and shit. Like you're playing 80 fucking games of Fortnite in a week. You're not trying to fucking win worlds. Bjergsen's the type, he's like, what do I need to do to win worlds? Play a lot of solo queue? Do I need to fucking like meditate? Do I need to fucking listen to books about improvement, like audiobooks about improvement? Do I need to fucking read like pamphlets on how to gain a mental edge, like whatever the fuck it takes for him to win, he's gonna try to do in order to like be the best. Where a lot of people don't actually have that drive and determination. It's like they say they want to be the best, but in reality they just want to like get paid and play video games.
So on the old TSM, like the Weldon roster, like your favorite head coach roster, for that one, like they had individual goals, and one of Bjergsen's individual goal was to sleep more. Because like that's like the conclusion they were coming to. Like you're kind of grouchy in the morning, like you don't seem at your best in like the first few games. Like you need to sleep more. So he made it an active goal to sleep like 8 hours a night. Like he's really dedicated.
Yeah, but that made sense. Like people will be like, "What, sleep more? What the fuck?" It's like, yeah, because he was playing that much solo queue. I know, because like in season 5, I don't know. I used to duo queue with Bjergsen all night in season 5. So like what we would do is we'd like scrim, and like TSM and TL scrimmed each other a lot, because that was like the top echelon of teams just scrimmed each other. So it was like TL would scrim, like CLG, TSM, like we would all just like scrim each other at the top. So we'd like scrim each other, and then we would both play solo queue from like 8 or 9 p.m. until 4 a.m. duo queue every single day, and then we'd wake up at 10 and continue playing. Like we would just fucking grind the shit out of that. Like there was not many players that would put in like 15 hours, and he was just one of the people that put in so many hours where it's like, okay, you're actually working so hard that it's hurting your progress because you're not getting enough sleep to actually recuperate.
What do you think? Let's move on to the Peter Zhang angle. What's you guys' first take?
I think Peter is great, but you need somebody else there with him to like be able, because he's like kind of emotional as a person, but I think that he's smart about the game, and a lot of people really don't credit him for being intelligent about the game, but he's good at like problems and like identifying like what weaknesses are and coming up with strategies to like play to the strengths of the team. Like I always thought he was good at that.
Yeah.
To me, this looks like what you talked about earlier: strategic coach and head coach. Like Peter, to me, seems like a strategic coach lacking the aura of a head coach, the authority figure. I would say
No, he does have the aura, dude. He has some like ancient Chinese wisdom.
No,
swear to God,
what?
He has that ancient Chinese wisdom where he'll say, and like if the players are bought in enough, they'll listen.
It feels like he's almost like a too much of a cheerleader sometimes, you know. And like your head coach, you want him to be a silent cheerleader, like the one that you want to get approval of, not the one that's pumping you up like that.
Actually,
that to me seems like Peter's approach.
Yeah, for the first time in my life, I agree with Daniel over Dom. Like Peter is like the cheerleader. Peter's like, Dom, you're so good at jungle. I trust you. You do well this time. Like.
Yeah, that's exactly how he talks. That's actually such a good Peter impression.
To me, doesn't sound like your head coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just how it is with Peter. So he's like a friend that you would trust a lot, but he's not someone that you go to for like guidance or wisdom or leadership.
Really, I went to him for guidance and wisdom a decent amount. Like he had like a decent mentality about like I thought that he was the coach that, because I only really had Peter. Like I had Peter, and then I had like a couple other coaches. Like I barely worked with Loco. I worked with Loco when I pretty much already wanted to retire. Like from the first day Loco was working with me, I'm like, so can I retire yet? Like, that was literally like, I swear to God, even in season 6, I would not have played one game of the season. Loco made me play one game of LCS to see if I actually wanted to retire. That was he's like, okay, so you have like a reputation of being like a stage player. We're gonna like just play on stage for one game, see if you feel any different, and if you don't, then you can still retire. Like that was actually the situation. So, like I thought Peter was actually able to like help me get like level up my gameplay, and I'd not experienced that before. Like I worked with Mark, I worked with other coaches. Like
damn, that shade on Mark.
Yeah, I mean, just Mark was like more of like an analyst than somebody that I like trusted.
Mark has said that before. He's like,
I never was like, okay, you're gonna like take me, like I believe in you enough to like take me to like another level of ability. And like for example, in season 4, I was somebody who would like be like a shot caller, but I wouldn't be able to shot call every point of the game. But I think that Peter was able to like give me like the knowledge of like calling all the lane setups and just being confident in like the whole process of like the entire game. So I don't know, I always respected Peter a lot. I thought that he was like like part of the reason why I had so much success in season 5.
It's not that I don't
we
respect
find
Peter.
New ways every week to shit on Loco, and this time it's Loco the coach. Before it was Loco the player, higher rated. Now this time it's Eldon's such a great coach.
No,
I think he's the head coach kind of figure. Man, Peter, he could barely speak English, but
I mean, the
my
thing is,
God,
like,
did he fascinate the way
Loco
that I
wasn't
play.
really like the way Loco came into coaching our team wasn't like he actually was supposed to be the coach of TL. He was supposed to be a content creator, but our coach was so fucking bad and our team was so dysfunctional. We ended up firing that coach. Like Peter, like Steve was just like, "Hey, can you like try to save this shit?" And by that time, we were already fucking like Quaz had already went insane. Like.
You wanted to
already
retire. Piglet made Smoothie cry.
Yeah. Piglet made Smoothie cry. I wanted to retire, and Quas had already like went mentally insane.
You know
what the fuck? Like it was just doomed.
You know what the biggest criminal job of like PR is? That year,
Yeah.
I was given Phoenix and Piglet, two extremely troublesome Koreans, and 3 players that have never ever played Academy before, let alone LCS, and Lorlo, Dardoch, and Matt. And I made that team 4th, and then we went to game 5 with CLG, and I still get shit on that year for the fucking whole breaking point shit, which they didn't include any of the fucking dumbass shit that Dardoch did or fucking TL was doing behind the back. And then next year, the year after, where they're like, oh, Loco was the problem. We have investment, we have all this money, and then they get fucking Rainover and they make him the highest paid player ever, and they're in relegation twice. And I'm like, holy shit, this fucking bullshit was my fault. Like, fuck breaking point.
Yeah.
Hey man, pays to win.
Hey, that was a good ass fucking movie, though. I love that movie.
Fuck you.
I loved watching Breaking Point.
Oh my god.
Me too.
I don't know why, but it keeps showing up in my recommendation, and Chad is always asking to watch it.
So fucking good.
Sorry, derailed
wait.
you, Loco.
Yeah.
You were making a point about the
About Peter. So I see a lot of myself in Peter. Like, we're both like Asian. We're both like second generation.
What the fuck? Okay.
What? We're both Asian. We're both second generation American. Like, we both like really love the game.
Wow, that's a lot.
And we
That's a
both
lot.
have like
you
we,
and Peter, man.
we both have like maturity problem. And Peter has like kind of the same syndrome I did when I was a coach. It's don't know where to shut the fuck up syndrome. Where do you guys remember in like the gauntlet run where they were like versus Clutch, and then Peter on the interview, he doesn't need to fucking say anything, like, cause they're up 2 games, like he's like, yeah, like we were gonna scrim Clutch, but these guys were so bad we cancel scrims on them, and we're just gonna destroy them on stage.
Oh man, Avali getting the deep cuts.
Yeah.
I like that. Like, I don't mind that shit because it's almost like a way of your coach. Like he's not doing it intentionally, right? But it takes the heat off you as a player. It's like, yeah, he said that dumb shit, not me. Like, don't blame me if we lost. Like, fuck that guy. You know?
Damn, you
Like,
really
Nah,
love
I think
Peter.
it's the opposite.
You're
That
spinning.
sounds like,
You're
why the
spinning.
fuck did you say that?
I love Peter.
You're spinning Peter being a dumbass on stage and not knowing when to shut his mouth and to no, he's doing it for the players, so the players don't look
I said
stupid.
that he's not doing it intentionally. That's the first thing I said. He's I don't think that he's doing it intentionally, but I think that like as a player, like I don't fucking mind that shit.
Okay.
I don't care. It's like, yeah, shit on that guy instead of me. Like,
Yeah, I'm sure that's what Speaka said.
yeah, probably. Like, Speaka fucking played bad. Like, I went back and I rewatched those games recently. He is a fucking dirty inter. Like, he dirty inted a lot of those games. Like, he needed some shit from Peter to get him out of that mess.
So funny enough, Speaka's actually in 100% Dom's camp because he tweeted earlier today like, no one talks shit about my coach. And this is when Peter was announced. So
Yep.
I mean, people that love Peter, and also like I know Spica and Peter are really close because everyone wanted Spica after like the Echo Fox kind of blow up, and everyone was like gunning for him. There were so many teams like in the Spica lottery, and Spica chose TSM because TSM had Peter.
Yeah, and they've always been close. You know, like Peter's also really good with junglers. Like that's one of the things that people say is his number one strength is he's super good at like understanding pathing and understanding what makes sense for the jungler, and then like having the team play around the jungler in the early game because it's more of like a Chinese style where it's very jungle centric. So I feel like junglers in general just have a lot of respect for him because he can like take them to the next level. He can like actually micromanage a jungle path where most coaches are kind of like, does this make sense for you? Like, okay, like play around bot side, and it's like, well, like my camps aren't up bot side. I can't fucking be around bot side. But they're like, no, play around bot side. Like I fucking tried that approach before where it's like, yeah, play around Piglet. I'm just like sitting in the brush. My whole top side is up. I'm fucking playing LCS. I'm down 40 CS. It's like, all right, I'm still in this brush. Like, you know, maybe I should go top side at some point. Like maybe I shouldn't be fucking playing around Piglet. just watching him get fucking solo killed in lane by a Sivir as Vayne. It's like, all right, you know what? Let's change what we're doing here. You know?
Yeah, Peter's a jungle player. Whenever we
wanted to play with Peter so badly, like all of TSM's junglers kept dropping off of the LCS roster.
Well, that was before they fucking brought in Peter. You know? Blame fucking Kha'Zix for that one.
But anyways, like Peter is like a really good jungle coach, and he's also a jungle player, so he understands that perspective really well. Fuck. There was like one other thing I wanted to hit on with TSM. Peter, Lustboy's thing. Parse said there might be like an additional announcement made regarding coaching staff. Maybe this was the announcement that he meant. I'm not too sure. I guess that's about it regarding like new news about TSM.
Well, if we're ready to move on. Speaking about TSM Academy's mid laner was Catavald, who was the #1 draft pick in the 2019 Scouting Grounds draft by the team that is still lacking a mid laner, EG. Evil Geniuses waiting on that mid lane savior to come through. They decided to lock in on Kumo in the top lane, which is not what we thought was going to happen. I believe in a couple episodes ago we said that, it's going to be a Korean top, must be a Korean top that could possibly come on in. They decide on Kumo, so the import slot will go to the mid lane, disregarding Pobe and Damonte and everybody else, and we'll chat about the other big players. So who you got in the mid lane as possible replacements, and why are we not going with a USA born and bred guy instead of Kumo in the top lane?
Well, first of all, they have an import, so they can just use the import mid lane, and if anything, I thought they should have played Deathly and got an import mid and top. So I don't know, it's pretty late in the off season, right? It seems like Chovy has found a team. A lot of people are talking about Chovy on Dragon X, and maybe that's what EG was waiting for. But there aren't a lot of big free agents out there, so yeah, I mean, who knows? So Shakureds is actually saying Big Jizuke is rumored. Jizuke from Vitality is rumored.
Big Jizz, okay.
Right, yeah, that actually would be I would like that move. Jizuke has always been like a top 4 mid laner.
Except for last split.
Yeah.
It's always so scary to me when it's like, okay, this guy had his first bad split ever. Let's pick him up.
This is time to buy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do the Cloud9 model.
That's not the EG model though. EG model is like we are TL but evil, and a lot of buzzwords.
Okay.
Can't wait to spend a lot of money.
I feel like Jizuki is a kind of weird player to put in NA, because he's like super egotistical, like really toxic, supposed to be rumored to be like not good in a team environment type shit. Then you're gonna put him on a team with like a bunch of nice guys and just hope that he doesn't fucking blow it up. But I feel like if they start losing, you know, and he's in NA, he's gonna be super toxic.
There's I don't know Jizuke that well, so it's hard to say if he'll be toxic or not. Like I interviewed him once at All-Star.
He is one of the most hated players in solo queue. Like in solo queue in EU West, I swear to God, you'll be in one game, he won't even be in the goddamn game, and it'll be like, thank God we didn't get that fucking expletive mid laner from Italy. Like, fuck this guy. Like, it is just like people just hate him in EU solo queue.
Wasn't the expletive?
Wait,
I don't know, man. You'll hear some shit about Jizuki.
Who's more hated, Jizuke or Solo?
It's tough to say. It's really tough to say, man.
It's really
as a jungler in NA, dude, I don't know one jungler in NA that does not fucking hate Solo. I fucking hate that guy every single time. Like he is a Shinshin, but better, but like just as delusional, you know? Like he'll just run it down top lane and just be like, yeah, I guess jungle difference again. Every game I'm like, I'm clearing my fucking red buff, motherfucker. Like, let me finish this goddamn camp and then I can maybe look at your lane.
Like, the thing about Solo is I'm always pro Solo, because when I worked with him, he was kind of reformed. I did see like little like flames of the toxicity ready to come out, but he was in like challenger scene and he had like nowhere to fucking go. So he like we had him by the balls. Like if he was toxic on our team, like he was fucked. So he's on his best behavior.
I've had bad enough experiences with him in solo queue that I just hope he never succeeds. I don't want to see it. Like he's not going to be on an LCS team this split. I just hope that he doesn't get on one and he fades into obscurity and his like he tries to stream and that shit dies and he has to go back to school and then fails out of school. Like I want to see just the end of that shit.
What
man.
the
like,
fuck, Dom? Holy shit.
Fuck this guy. Like literally fuck him as a person for the rest of his life. Like I just hate this man.
Damn.
Like,
That's not even as a player. That's deep.
I want because dude the thing is he's super personal too, right? Like he'll just go in on you personal. So like I think that me and him will always hate each other, like just as a person. Like, I'm sure that he's just sitting there like in my chat making like new accounts, like just flaming me, you know, like Dom's so washed up, shit like that. Nah, like it is over for me and him, dude.
So I was actually shocked that Solo didn't get a team. That Kumo is starting over Solo. Like you can talk all the shit you want about Solo's mental and maybe who he is as a person. But he was damn fucking good, and one of the only reasons like Echo Fox is staying afloat, and he's a solo laner in NA that can like hold his own, and that won't be like the bottom half. Like that's fucking valuable. Like
I don't know. I mean, I think that you got to experience him like reformed, maybe. But when you look at Echo Fox, it's like, why do you think Sam was starting over him at the end of the season? It just feels like there must have been some bullshit that went on.
That team's just a shithole. That's why.
Yeah, they
Maybe.
just gave up. I
Really, I feel like
No,
I mean you.
They didn't give up. They're just stupid. They did not give up. They just thought that was what was best. That team was just fucking dumb.
Really, I thought there must be some like attitude issues because I remember just even watching those games with like him and Mike Young where he's just getting solo over and over again. You can see on the player laughing and shit. It's like you can tell he's so frustrated about his jungler not being in his lane while he's getting camped. It was like the one game with like Blabber where he was versus Kumo actually, and he was like up 10 CS while dying 3 times in lane, and he was just running it down on stage. I just felt like there had to be some attitude issues there.
Oh, I don't doubt the attitude issues, but what I meant was like I don't think Echo Fox gave up, and they were like, oh, Lorlo, you can start, like because of the attitude issues. That's what they thought was the best bet.
You're just to know.
Wow, you actually brought that. I literally never think about so I forgot how much I hated him. Nice. Okay, I'll carry that hatred into my stream tomorrow. That'll fuel me a little bit. Okay, excellent.
Loco
Continue.
and I had him at 5 in terms of the tier list. You had him pretty far down. I think you had him down at 7 or 8, and I think that was fueled by the
6,
hate.
I think. Yeah.
No, you had him at 8. 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's the
5,
hate
6,
talking.
7, 8.
That's
Yeah,
not the
maybe.
Dom. That's not Dom the brain. That's Dom the hate.
You had Ruin rated higher than Solo.
I think at the time though, Ruin was like pretty good. Like he
You
was
were-
like
you were- that's right. You were on that Ruin hype train when the hype
that was
train
when
going.
Ruin was playing weak side and not inting every game. Like he was just like getting 0 resources and always doing like well and being a good team player. And then he started dying in those same situations. It's like, okay, now this is not as good as it was.
I feel like when you're like a young top or you don't have a lot of experience, you can only carry or feed. There's like no middle ground.
Yeah, kind of. I don't know. I felt like Quas was always like super good even when he was a young top. Like he was really good about like always being relevant and like being able to play weak side and not into like he was always super smart. So I've had different experiences.
All right. Well, deep into the mid lane champ pool, into the library of possible mids. Jizuki is one of them. Obviously, pretty hated if Dom's comparing him to Solo. Who else do you guys have that could possibly fill that slot there?
There were like home runs like Yukal, Chobi. I don't think like those home runs are happening anymore, so they don't have anyone really. Who is even left? Like
That is
Febiven?
an import.
Like they could get Febiven? I don't know. Like they just aren't players.
Fabiven I feel like is really underrated though. Like right now, like people just think he's absolute shit, but if you talk to like other European mid laners, like everyone's
me. I think he's shit.
everyone thinks that he's like all the players still respect him for some reason. Like they still think he's good. There's random players like that can like for example, Nuke Duck was not doing well in LCS for forever, right? Like he was just always on bottom teams, and people would always say he's one of the top 3 mids. I feel like Fabiven is somebody that they still respect in EU.
Oh my god! So ESPN just actually did report Jizuke to Evil Genius. They said after failing to court Chobi from South Korea, Evil Genius will be bringing on Jizuke. Wow, you will get to play with him in solo queue.
Yeah,
Dang.
I played with him before. I never had a problem with him though.
PG shade. They have to get their number 2 guy.
I mean, I only played with him once he was like already a pro player though. Like I only went this year, right? So when I was playing with fine. Like he wasn't like toxic in my games or anything. He just has a reputation for like really hunting. Things don't go his way. Like he'll just start running it down actually.
Oh my god. this looks so weird because like they went like ham on like the Cloud9 pieces. So me and a Cloud9 coach were actually talking about this earlier. Like whoever that gets to coach the EG team is in such a nice spot. Like they get both Svenskeren and Zeyzal. Like they're gonna do so well no matter what. And then their imports ended up being Zizuke Bang, and that's like ugh. Like what the fuck happened to this roster building process?
I mean, I feel like that team's still not gonna be that bad though, because like if you look at like Svenskeren, Zeyzal, like Jizuki and Svenskeren should be decent mid jungle. I feel like that's the one thing that you need with Jizuki. You need like an aggressive, good jungler, and I feel like Svenskeren's that. So I don't know if this roster is like doomed based off what we've seen. I could see this being a playoff roster.
It could have been like Crown mid with like, I don't know, someone like an import top or something, or like Kuro mid with like an import top, like, or it could have been some like maybe like UCal wasn't that far off, or some other European mid they could have tried to court it, like Larson mid.
I mean, I think that the more that I think about it, the more I see like this not being an issue in terms of players, because I feel like the most important thing as a mid laner is having a jungle you respect. Like if you have a good jungler and you're playing mid, you're normally going to be like pretty okay with the rest of it. Like if your bot lane's inting, it doesn't feel as bad as having like an inting jungler, because at least with a good jungler mid, you have like the agency to like win your lane and like control the game to some degree. So I could see this not being an issue, like attitude not being an issue on this team. Obviously, they have like some like scary points. Like you don't know if Zeyzal was just only bad last split because he was with Sneaky and that lane just didn't work out, or what. Bang is kind of a question mark too. But in terms of like, in terms of mid jungle, like having a good mid jungle is probably one of the most important things for building a roster going forward. So I would probably put this as like a sixth place team. Fifth place team, maybe.
That's not the question mark. To me, you look at the teams that have used the slots like this before. There's two of them. 100 Thieves last season, ass. Optic, ass. Like when you use it like that, it makes me worried, especially given the fact that Kumo is unproven. He's unproven. Like Kumo's going to be fake god to 2020.
Wow, I hope they just bring back Solo.
Man, why do you like Solo?
I
think he's good.
He's good.
Loco was never high. Loco was never high enough rated to Solo. That's what it is. It's like if you played with him,
I coached him.
Yeah, coaching him is different. Like
that's different.
Yeah, coaching him is different.
So because I don't experience him in solo queue, I don't know how he's gonna be in competitive setting. I worked with him on a team, Dom. I worked with him on a fucking team. You played with him in solo queue. What the fuck?
Yeah, but I mean, I've seen him in the team environment too. I mean, he's another player. Like, I just feel like Solo, like, pretty peak, right? Like, he's been in competitive for 5 years now. No, 6 years. 2014 was his first, or maybe it was 2015 was his first year. C9. But yeah, season 5, season 6, season 7, season 8, season 9. That's enough time to see like, is this guy actually going to be a beast? I don't know. I feel like at this point, you'd rather just try to develop like another player, because there have been players that have came out since then, right? That weren't a thing when he started that have just surpassed him easily. Like for example, Licorice. So I feel like you can have him like as a stable part. Like maybe he could be like a veteran part of a really good roster. But if you have like a middle of the pack roster, I feel like taking a risk on a player that has more upside could potentially be better.
Nah, I think that this is the play, because he now has established guys that can build around, and that's what you need in this EG roster. You need someone to hold that top side, because they're going to play through Jizuki there, they're going to play through Bang there, and Solo is very much used to just kind of hold the top side, play Gangplank, and just survive through the lane. And
but he's never been good at surviving. Like that's been his weakness, is that he just dies to ganks and then laughs about it. Always like winning. He's like winning
that one game. That on a shit team that was already hitting the shitter.
I looked at like all the games last split. Like he just looks like he was consistently like dying a lot. Like it wasn't just one. Like I feel like the reason why Sam started playing instead of him was because of how much he was dying. Like Mike Young was obviously a bad jungler and he wasn't there in the timings that he needs, but I don't consider like Solo a good weak side player. I think that he's like a decent strong side player. Like if you play through him, I think he'll be good. I think if you just leave him on an island and you're like, hey dude, just farm up there, he's gonna fucking trade and like int.
Damn. They could have gone more like thematic with their roster and been like really evil. Get Solo, talk about his past, his experience with Dom. Spencer, talk about his time in Taiwan. Since you can't talk about him in European solo queue,
Yep.
that would have been amazing. Like,
And
really
then Bang,
into
you
the
have
brand.
to. I don't know about. Oh, you have to talk about him. The hamburger shit.
Yeah.
What was the hamburger shit? I forgot that.
Where he
What was
said
the hamburger shit? I don't
he doesn't
remember.
really like Burger King, but he ate 2 Whoppers.
Wait, what was it? Why was that controversial? There was something.
No,
about it.
people just hated him. So he was like, I don't really like Burger King, and then he ate 2 Whoppers. That is literally just what happened.
There had to be.
No,
think it was something
I'm
else.
not. I'm not trolling you. That is literally what happened. He
Hunt
said,
of thieves, man. Hunt of thieves.
no. This was when he was on SKT and he was getting hate. Like, he said he didn't like Burger King and he ate Whoppers, and people were like, "Oh my God, this guy can't be trustworthy." Like, he's talking about how he hates Burger King, but
Oh, I
look
thought
at
it was
it.
something
He's
like he
eating
was
2
like
Whoppers.
saying to go work at Burger. What the fuck? That's really all it was.
That's literally what it was.
Damn. Yeah, that's pretty fucking cringe. Yeah. I mean, Korea's just weird with that type of shit, though.
Yeah.
Like, the amount of things that you can get away, like, at any type of disrespect, you just get shit on in Korea.
Yeah.
I
And he
feel
did,
like any way that you could taint the Lord and God, our Savior, Faker, get the fuck out.
and he also slapped
so
Wolf.
you think
but that was,
Solo's
like,
better
in
than
a joking-
Hanser?
No, of course Hanser's better.
Oh, okay. Because people are saying that he's like by far the second best top laner, the NA born top laner, and I would say Licorice, and then
Yeah, Licorice,
What?
Hanser, and then probably Solo, who's like even up there.
yeah.
I had
probably-
Solo. I had Solo higher than Hanser last split, but yeah.
Do we want to touch
I
on
think-
any of the academy rosters? Because CLG just got announced, 100Ds. We talked a little bit about TSM. We can actually, there is some LCS players in them, so we can talk about them. Let me go pull up the 100Ds one really quick. They had like random ass players I never even fucking heard of, so I have to go back and check. They do have contracts though, so let's see what their roster was. It was
Thank God, no one left at Golden Guardians.
okay. So
It's
top
good.
is Fake God, contracts, Mid Feligo, 80k personal, support Breezy, and head coach Karen Moser, Kelsey. Who the fuck
Breezy.
Who the fuck is Breezy?
Breezy. Okay, so the Breezy I'm thinking
solo
of is
queue
the
player. He's like
Counter-Strike
pretty
player.
good.
Yeah, who is
No,
this guy?
he was apparently like a collegiate player, but he was top 10 in solo queue last split. So I like seeing players like that go to a team, man. Like, I feel like that should be a thing. If you're able to just get top 10 in solo queue, fucking let's see how you play in academy. And if it's bad, whatever. But I think it's good in general to like give players like that a chance, right? Like, they grinded the fuck out of solo queue. They achieved something in solo queue. He's one of the only support players that did that last season. See what he can do in academy.
Wow. Well, it seems like Soligo watch will go on. Soligo getting another starter spot in academy.
You know what? Is it weird of me, Loco, to think it's because of his performance at Twitch Rivals where he looked fucking dominant? He
No.
shit on everybody, dude.
No, I think it was probably before.
He was gonna get a starting spot. I think so. I think.
Yeah, I
Punch-
think he's an academy player.
Yeah.
I think he's like an academy level player. But
And I
that
know
doesn't
that's what
change the
you've
fact.
always said, Dom. Like, no one, everyone that thinks you hate Soligo, you hated the fact he was LCS.
I think that. So you got to remember, he's better now than he was when he was playing LCS and he's playing academy, right? Like, when he was playing LCS, I said that he was the worst mid laner I'd ever seen play LCS, in like recent times. And I still think that that's the truth, man. Go back and watch those games. Like, he was so bad they had to bench Someday to get Ryu to replace. Like, Ryu was like a massive upgrade over him, and like Ryu Fake God was better than like. Think about the difference between Someday and Fake God. There was more of a difference between fucking Ryu and him that they needed to fucking play with Ryu so badly so they could actually have a mid laner, man. Like,
Could Soligo now have fit in that roster that someday could have played?
What?
hell
Oh.
no. Fuck that. Jesus. Like, next question. Like,
All right.
Have you guys ever talked to Soligo after we did the whole like?
yeah, no, I went to
thumb-
his stream before.
Yeah.
I show up in his stream and I just put one happy face. He immediately started laughing.
I talked to him before. I talked to him after too, and then I asked him what he thought about like Facecheck and Soligo watch, and he's like, "Oh, it's okay."
Yeah, he's so nice.
Yeah.
He's such a nice guy, but it's like, goddamn, like, I hope he understands that I only bully him for content. It's not actual hatred. Like, I meant everything I said. Like, number one, I'm not lying. But it was literally like I have to be more extreme to
Good
just.
guy, Tom. Jesus.
What do you guys think about contracts on Academy?
I think it's completely
well.
fine. I think he was one of the worst junglers last split. I don't think that you give him another chance. Like there has to be NA players that deserve the spot over him. I think it's criminal to see Dardoch in Academy last split and Contracts in LCS. There's no way I think Kha'zix is a better player than Dardoch.
He just like disappeared after that C9 split. Like, and he needs to like rebuild himself from ground up. So I do think Academy is like a good shot for him. But I don't know where things go if it doesn't go well from here.
McDonald's probably.
Yeah. Not McDonald's.
I don't know. What
Mickey
am I
D.
supposed to say?
For me, they changed the whole Golden Guardians roster. You could have made an argument that, Matt or Def Lee and Matt were the play, Lorlo wasn't the play, Mickey was not the play, so Contracts was surrounded by a dysfunctional roster. And they changed the whole roster, and
he was still bad.
Kind of the same issues. Yeah. So I think it was time for a change, and a change of an org for him. So good to see him get another opportunity. I was actually worried that he was going to be on the outside looking in.
I swear to God, he always just looked like he was always trying to be a Korean juggler. That's how I saw him. Like he was like, I am just gonna ignore farming and I'm gonna be fucking aggressive. And then he would just like do shit. It's like, wait, dude, you're level. Please, just like farm a camp, dude. Just hit your red buff. Like I can't see you be this far behind. Like I don't know.
Well, I told Luca this before, but when we're on Golden Guardians, his tracking was insane. Because what you see in the back when you're watching in LCS is you see the live stream that everyone else is saying. So you have full vision, but you hear the comms of your team. And like Juan's tracking of the other jungler was insane. He was right so much of the time. And I think with that knowledge, he's like, I know where he is. He probably doesn't know where I am. We can fight. We win this 2v2. And I think there was a lot of we win this 2v2 calls that they did not win. Or they won this 2v2 call and they misplayed and died. A lot of missed Jack's counter-strikes back in 2018.
I mean, I just feel like in general, he's just somebody who's over-aggressive. Like, he's not good about winning the game without fighting. Like, he needs to, like, fight and get a lot of kills and outperform mechanically in order to win. Where other junglers just don't need to do that, right? Like, Xmithy can fucking win the game without getting one kill, right? Meteos can win the game without getting one kill. Like, they just have a better perception of, like, how we're going to, like, snowball this game, like, which lanes he should be playing around. Like when to take Drake, when to take Rift Herald, how to play around those objectives, like setting up vision, like all of that stuff I feel like is what Contracts this week at.
To me, that's a great point, and I think when there's another dominant player on the team, you can do that. And I think that's why there was success early on with Golden Guardians, with Froggen coming onto the team, and it's like, yeah, play here. But then afterwards, the voices all started getting a little bit bigger. Hanser wanted to get played through more. Froggen obviously still wanted to get played through. Definitely was like, all right, it's my turn as well. And I think that starts messing him up. If you have a dominant force to kind of shock call him around with his game knowledge and his mechanics and his ability to scout, I think that changes a lot. But when there isn't that or too many voices, he struggles.
I think the jungle is just a role where you need to like know like everyone's gonna be asking shit from you all the time. Like, hey, like, can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? And like you need to just understand like what makes sense for you, and like when you can tell people like, hey, I can't do that, you're just gonna have to ward or back off this wave or just TP back to lane or some shit. Like I can't help you in this situation. I feel like you need a jungler that understands the game enough and is confident enough to do what they want to do in the game and like control the pace of the game themselves and not let the laners dictate what the pace of the game should be to them.
We can go to C9 Academy actually. Let me.
I think CLG Academy just got announced or something.
Yeah, we can do
CLG Academy.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Is it on Reddit? I don't see it.
No, it's on their tweet. Let's start with C9 and then we can end with CLG. So for C9, they have Knight, Nite, Dragonman Kim for jungle, Palafox mid lane, King for ADC, and Diamond support.
Wait, say it again. Where do you see this? Can I like look at it?
Cloud9 Twitter.
Cloud9?
Yeah. Who the hell is this Knight guy?
Night9, there it is. Wait, I wish.
I don't.
That guy's too good. I don't see it on Cloud9 Twitter.
He's like a Chinese player that plays in North America. Like
So
I checked his Twitter, and all he does is like he has like a lot of Chinese tweets, and then he just talks about his solo queue.
Wait, where is it? Because all
Cloud9
I see
Twitter,
is,
I don't see it.
Cloud9 Twitter. Scroll down.
Where?
I'm just getting upset that they're releasing.
How
that.
long ago did they announce
23 hours ago.
Oh, okay.
There it is. Yeah, fuck King. Definitely is better.
Wait, who's wait, I don't see a knight person here at all.
ZZZ Boris. That guy's knight.
And I look at the photo.
Oh, Eclipse. That's Eclipse, right?
Yeah, that's what Shaka's saying. His name's Eclipse.
Oh, okay, yeah. So this is the guy that played for like Clutch Academy.
I have no idea who it is. Like, did he play for Clutch Academy?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Wasn't it like Sun, Moon, and Eclipse? Wasn't that the thing?
No, okay.
Wasn't he an 80 carry main?
He said it's a different Eclipse. It's not the one from Clutch Gaming, apparently.
Eclipse.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this guy. I've never even seen him in solo queue, which is not normally a good sign because I play a decent amount of solo queue.
He says he's top 10 according to his Twitter.
He was challenger last year.
So.
What was his name? Was it Knight?
It's 4
Boris
men.
Opa.
It's Boris Opa or 4 Chinese characters.
Boris Opa, I remember him. He was like a Riven player then, right?
Yeah, he has Ribbon as his most played, it looks like.
Yeah, he was a good Riven player. I remember him. I don't know if he's like competitive though. I don't know what his champion pool looks like. He was just in he was just on my team always playing Riven, so I thought he was just a Riven one trick.
So I actually know about their jungle player. So their jungle player is Dragonman Kim. Like he watches my stream and then he'll ask for
that's a bad thing. Oh wait, what? I mean
he watches my stream and then he'll ask for advice sometimes, so I'll give him advice.
Oh god.
No,
okay,
no, it's over, dude.
And recently,
you're asking the wrong member of Facecheck for jungle advice.
And recently, yeah, you should be asking Digon. And recently, he was talking to me about maybe potentially joining C9. And then he said Rainover told him to play like 20 solo queue games a day. And then I said, it sounds stupid, but just play 20 solo queue games a day. Like if a coach asks you, just do it. And yeah, he apparently got the starting spot. So congrats to him. Like I'm pretty curious like how he'll do. I don't think he has had competitive experience before, but it is nice to see like C9 invest into like solo queue talent.
He's played like some like baby competitive like TCS and shit. He was pretty good. And I've always thought that this player was good. Dragon Minkim, he always has like 70% win rate on accounts, and he's very mechanically talented, which gives me like a lot of, I guess, like hope for him. You know, like he's not like one of those junglers that gets high rated by spamming Rek'Sai every game, you know, like those players are fucking old, washed up, and pathetic. Like he's like somebody who plays like Lee Sin. He was good at Talia. He was good at he was good at a Camille jungle, I remember. So I've always wanted to see more players like that give competitive a shot because I feel like they have more hope than some of the other players out there.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep a close eye on him. So I'll watch Cloud9 Academy. I hope they do well. Also, Rainover is gonna be head coach. The Rainover legendary jungler. Gonna work well nicely with them.
Well, he was legendary until 2017.
Legendary for his ability to negotiate.
No, yeah, that's what he's legendary for. He's legendary for his salary.
That's how he's gonna go down in the history of LCS.
I think he's gonna go down as like people just don't know how good he was because he literally only had success when Huni was a top lane, and I feel like most people just kind of. Like, at this point, we're just like, yeah, he just got carried by Huni. Because we saw what he looked like when it's like, okay, you are now the main player of this team. You're supposed to carry. It didn't ever look the same, you know?
And what else? We talked about Rainbow Palafak for mid lane. I know he's been around forever. I'm surprised like Cloud9 got like kind of a around forever, but not that great player. They did get him as like a trade for when they gave Golden Guardians Golden Glue and they got Palafox. I'm not sure like how good he is.
He has a lot of potential. He's just like he's a hit or miss player.
Again, touted as the future NA mid by Optic Gaming 2017, 2018.
I hear that so much. Oh, this guy's the future of NA. I heard that about Demonte.
No, it's just Jack.
I heard that about Pobelter. I heard about Cat Evolved.
Demonte.
I heard about Fire. Like every single time there's like a recently like a NA player that hit Challenger in mid lane, they're like, this guy's gonna be the next hope of NA. He'll be the Bjergsen. He'll be our Faker. Like people, I'm not joking. People said that seriously about Pobelter. People said that seriously about Demonte.
Well, Pope said it about himself. Remember, he had one of the early interviews with Travis, where he's like, "I want to be able to beat Faker" or something like that. And it was like the clip. It was the beginning of Travis taking clips out of context.
Like anytime there's like a NA mid lane that's like just decent, people just go overboard. So I want to see something before we call this
Shifter
guy.
was really good.
With how good was he? Like compared to imports, like he got pushed out pretty easily.
I think the thing about Shifter was he was always really good mechanically in fights, but his CSing was terrible. in competitive. Like he was always like down a bunch of CS in competitive, and like eventually that ended up like it was like, okay, you're so far down in CS that you can't actually like trade. Like even I remember like when I played against Shifter with Phoenix, it felt like Phoenix was so much more dominant in lane. It felt like Shifter couldn't even like use his talents because of like how oppressed he would get just in terms of 1v1 laning. So yeah, I mean, I feel like the one thing that I when I look at players, right, I'm like, what's the future of NA mid lane? I'm surprised that Insanity doesn't have a team, and like people like Palafox do.
Insanity was a beast on TLA.
Yeah. And then he just didn't get a team the next split. Like I think that Insanity is a better player than Catapult. I would say that he's a better player than Palafox. I feel like those are the players. Like I feel like he's somebody who we're giving some time into. We should be looking into.
I have no idea who these guys are. You guys have a better idea than me. I don't watch Academy. Yeah. Oh no, I know who he is, but I don't know his skill level. I don't really work with Academy players, or nor do I play with them. You actually get to play with them, and Daniel probably worked with them or watches Academy more than me.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, Insanity is just one of those players who, like, he showed up in Season 5 out of nowhere. He was 16 years old. Like, now he's about, like, 20, 21, something like that. And I feel like people have been like, oh, well, he's been around a while. Like, he was, like, on streams and shit in 2015, 2016. He has nowhere to grow. I feel like he's became so much of a more disciplined player in terms of just, like, becoming an actual good mid laner in terms of, like, CSing, right? I feel like that is the biggest thing that I look at for these mid laners. Like, can you get 10 CS a minute no matter what's going on in the game as a mid laner? Like, that shit is fucking hard to do. And when you see people that are actually able to like hit those numbers, and like the fact that Insanity can lane into people like Jensen and Bjergsen, that used to be the breaking point where people would be like, oh, now you're against somebody that's actually like a beast, you're just going to get completely outlaned and you're going to be so far down that you can never like actually get a foothold in the lane. You don't have an opportunity to do anything. I feel like he's one of the players that actually can. So to me, it's a shame that all these players are getting chances over him.
So I think this brings up a good point to bring up the next topic. Loco, you had a fantastic tweet earlier. We didn't discuss this, but I think we should, about the amount of leagues, competitive leagues, that European players are able to play in due to their national leagues and all the play-ins from there, compared to North America, where we have LCS 50 slots and Academy 50 slots. And that's it. And so
there's nothing below.
When it comes to developing talent, we have to look towards events like the TCS, like Twitch Rivals, if you even consider that for competitive players. And you know, we're talking about Insanity. We're talking about redemption stories for some of these other players that aren't currently signed, and there's nowhere for them to play. Like the option is to go to Korea and grind solo queue. Or stream, and then you don't really to
play our fucking ridiculously worthless amateur scene.
Yeah,
like I don't know, it's pretty sad.
Dude, I love how Sherman. I love you, Sherman, but you replied with, "But NA has collegiate programs. There's about 400 competing colleges, and then you get 10 players per roster, so you get 4,000 spots for NA logo." I'm like, quality of opportunity also matters. Don't fucking talk to me about fucking diamond players and platinum players playing in your stupid collegiate programs.
I'm literally playing with people that are on collegiate teams in Diamond 3 ELO NA Season 9.
Me too. Like, I get collegiate players also.
Yeah, and they're just fucking terrible. They're 49% win rate, 2K games, and then they're fucking playing in collegiate. It's like, all right, this guy is never going to be good. You play 2,000 games in a season, you get hard stuck in Diamond 3, you just don't have enough natural talent to be pro, no matter what.
You're telling me I can't make it, Dom? Jesus.
Digon, you're like 40 years old.
You're platinum, like, Daniel. Shut the fuck up. You're platinum.
Calm the fuck down. You're
platinum
4. And
you're plat 4. You're almost fucking gold. Just shut the fuck up.
All right, well, that's the end of Digon.
So, anyways, yeah, like collegiate just isn't a viable path to pro. There's like what 1 or 2 colleges that are actually competitive with like amateur teams.
Look at Bob Quinn. That's a perfect example, right? He was the god. He was the faker of collegiate, right?
He was faker of collegiate. The
UBC,
only 2-time champion for the longest time.
Yeah, UBC. He was winning everything, shitting on everyone. He was the hero of the world. Played in Academy, 10th place Golden Guardians Academy. Got the fuck out of there the next season. Off to streaming, dude. Collegiate is just garbage. Yeah. Don't come on.
I love Bob.
I won't say I'd say it's a path. It's just not the quickest path. Like even
it's not a fucking path.
No.
Maryville's
it's not a path,
and they were dominant off of Niles in the top lane. He didn't even get an academy offer.
Yeah,
to
and
me,
Niles is pretty decent.
You're,
but
you're
I mean,
not
it's
making
like,
an argument for it being a pass, Daniel, by saying that. How is that a pass? It's like a detour.
the
Like,
infrastructure's there. I'm saying it'll just take 1 to 2 players to make it through, and then people will start using it as a viable.
I mean,
hub,
the
both
problem is the
from
people.
team side and the player side as a way to go through. But currently, I don't know if a team will take a shot on somebody like Misty Stumpy. That's someone else who's rehashed it out. Evan RL, that's another guy who's hashed it out at multiple different colleges and still just right there on the cusp and can't, no one's giving him an opportunity. He was an all-star down in Latin America, and he's still not getting an opportunity here on an academy squad in North America. So it's just,
I mean, the one is Breezy, right? That's the one that we could talk about getting a good spot. But I don't feel like those players are like academy player or like collegiate players that are being brought up through collegiate. They're just like good at the time, and they're going to college, and they're like, whatever, I guess I'll play on this like team. But it doesn't really seem like they're moving towards their goal of academy by being in collegiate. It feels like if Breezy was just a fucking top 10 solo queue NA support and then ended up getting like just ended up getting to that point on the ladder, he would have just got offers either way. It doesn't feel like collegiate really benefited him to like get him into the pro scene.
Daniel, didn't you say like Radiance was shitting on all the college teams also?
yep.
So
Yep.
I think the college teams are worse than even amateur teams. There's academy, there's amateur, and then there's collegiate. Like, you're so far down the ladder if like an amateur team is like shitting on like a full-time collegiate team.
Yeah, and Dom made a good point. I think a lot of players that are really good in college that could possibly make it go in with a mentality that's like, well, I'm doing it now, and if I don't make it, that's okay. I'll fall back on my pharmacy degree and career. And how can you actually make it when there's so many other guys that are full-time, this is my life, this is what I'm gonna eat, sleep, and breathe? It's you're gonna have to be an insane talent.
Being high rated in solo queue is a quicker in to getting it on an academy team than being the best collegiate player in your position. That's how I see it.
I think that at some point can change, but again, that's what 5 players then maybe. The best in each one in collegiate, and that's it.
The thing is, you're not against good enough competition to like prove how good you really are. It's like, damn, I just shit on this like D2 fucking jungler. Put me in LCS. Like, that shit doesn't matter. Like, people would much rather see you like playing versus somebody that's actually good in solo queue. It's like, okay, even if it is just solo queue, at least we can see that you're not gonna just get completely shit on.
It feels like you don't really learn macro, or like you don't really learn how to be a teammate. Because if Bob was supposed to be like the faker of collegiate, when we got Bob, like Bob had like okay-ish mechanics.
No. That's because he was on E-United first.
Was he on E-United? Oh yeah, he was, but like
he was on E-United.
Like, Bob's macro knowledge was bad. Like, Bob wasn't the best teammate. Like, it does not seem like collegiate teaches you those like team aspect skills either. So I don't really know what to play for.
Also, it's like when you're just shitting on collegiate, like, you're not gonna have a lot of like issues run into a team. Like, you lose a collegiate match, that's not gonna be the same amount of pressure as you lose a fucking game in LCS, and then you look on like Reddit and Twitter and you're getting DMs to fucking kill yourself, and you're like saying that you're the worst fucking player in the league, and then you go on Facecheck and I'm shitting on you too. Like, that's some different level of stress, right? Like you have to be able to like understand like the difference between the impact of what's going on within like your career when you're collegiate versus when you're pro.
Okay.
And the legend of Saligo continues to grow.
Let's go back to the C9 Academy roster. So the AD carry support is King and Diamond. Do you guys know a lot about King?
I know a lot about King.
All right, let me know.
So King was like he's one of those 80 carry gods of OCE. So he was like probably the 80 carry that was up there with Lost and FBI. So like those were the 3. He played on Direwolves. He won multiple championships with Direwolves. He went to Korea. He got Challenger Korea as an AD carrier. He went to Worlds. They obviously dropped out a bunch, but he was like another player that had a lot of talent. And he was always like somebody who could easily hit rank 1 in OCE, and he just like outgrew the region. So I feel like this is a lot of those teams using that one extra spot that they have now for wildcard players in Academy. Yeah, so like OCE, he's one of the players that should deserve this spot. Like, he's definitely one of the 10 best OCE players. So if each team gets one, losses on one, King should be on another. for sure.
And
Shern
it
is on another
also
one as well.
fits that roster because Sven is there, right? So Sven is an import, so you got an import and an import in the same slot. So if you swap them out, you don't have to do any of your roster stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like we can shit on Sven as much as possible, but there's no way that King is like replacing him anytime soon. Like it would need to be a catastrophe.
It's Cloud9.
Yeah, but Cloud9, I feel like they're the team where people will play their best. I feel like you always feel good going into Cloud9, right? It's like, yeah, it's like a nice environment, like everyone's like calm, like it doesn't feel like you're really like it's not like a team that's gonna break you, right? Like TSM will fucking break you. TSM will ruin your goddamn career. All right, like Cloud9 is you'll probably get the best out of the players.
So
I can't wait till we finally have a manifesto out of Cloud9. You know, we haven't had one out of that system, regardless of how many times players have been chewed up and then sold out after being told they're Jack's favorite and then getting sold right afterwards. Hey, all NALCS, great job. You rose your price by
Sneaky might be the first.
$500,000. See you later.
Sneaky might I don't know. Maybe Sneaky loves Jack too much.
I don't think Sneaky's gonna do it.
Sneaky's actually like Jack's
Sorry,
second
I didn't
son.
mean to derail. What were you saying, Loco?
Holy shit! What happens if he announces it through a cosplay? That would be so insane. It's like one of his like Patreon moods. He bends over, lifts up the skirt, on his ass is.
I don't want this. He froze.
No, he froze,
Thank
man.
God. Loco, get us out of this.
Okay.
Go.
I was gonna talk about.
Point.
I was gonna talk about if King does replace Sven on Cloud9. Oh, you froze out, by the way, Dom, when you talked about Sneaky Fast.
I mean, it was on purpose.
It's gonna be great when we upload it on YouTube.
I'm gonna fucking rejoin the call 1 second.
Wait, no, you're fine. Oh my
No,
god.
you were fine. You were fine.
Okay,
Whatever. Okay, we're back.
So, anyways, I was gonna talk about if King does replace Sven on Cloud9. That would be a new low for Sven. Like even with the whole fucking Skarner thing, that would be a new low.
Okay.
And final piece for Cloud9, Diamond. Is Diamond good? I heard he was supposed to start for an LCS team, so he must be good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's supposed to be pretty good. I never was like super high on Diamond, but I think he was good. Wait, didn't he play C9 Academy last split?
Yeah, he played Academy last
he was
split.
C9
Yeah.
Academy last split with definitely / Keith.
Mm-hmm.
The rumors were like him and Lost going to Immortals, like that was the rumor for a little bit, and like him going to other teams as
Jesus.
potential.
I mean, Immortals is looking rough enough as it is. I don't think they want like double Academy players being the ball lane.
What else?
They need you somewhere.
Yeah,
That's a
true.
retirement home
That's
now.
an old ass team right there. That is fucking Jesus.
So the final one should be CLG Academy that got announced. So
Yeah.
they have Deuce in top lane. Deuce is
Isn't he
Alexi.
mid lane?
No, he's
Oh,
top.
no.
He got announced as
He's
top.
solo. He's solo lane.
No, well, he got. I'll explain. But he got announced as top lane. So Deuce, he's like. I worked with him. He actually used to go by RJSDND God. It's actually
This motherfucker was
RJSD
psycho back
Yeah.
in the day. He was psycho.
Yes,
he was a
he was.
GP. He was a GP mid one trick.
Mhm.
This is who this guy was, and he was an absolute psychopath. But I like he got better over time. Like he's not psycho anymore.
Yeah. So he named himself after Wung, and then he added me one day, and then he was like, "Oh, I'm a really big fan of MIG," and then we knew.
He was the only one. What the fuck?
Fuck you. We have more fans in Korea than you ever will, Dom.
Wait, really?
Yeah, MIG used to be fucking huge.
What the fuck? Do they not know that you stream? Like, what
Way
the
back,
fuck?
way back. Way back.
okay.
We used to be.
Okay.
We used to be
Alright.
the most popular team in the world. So fuck you.
Oh shit! In the world. What
Yeah.
the fuck?
It was
God
me,
damn.
Mad Life, Wong, Rapid Star, Cloud Templar. We all went to. Be
I just
famous
remember.
in our
I
own
just remember
way.
all the fucking Woong Mundo memes where it was just his face on
I
Mundo.
remember all the other guys you just named for their playing days.
But anyways, he added me one day, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, I used to really like Woong." I was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" Like using Woong's old account. I used to think he's really good. I'm like, okay. And then Fly needed to go back to Korea for a little bit for visa, and then we needed someone to scrim with. So I was like, "Do you want me to fly you out to LA so you can scrim with us for a little bit?" So he flew out. We flew him out to LA, and he lived with us, and he scrimmed with us for a little bit. And
Was he
then
terrible?
He was bad compared to Fly, but Fly was really fucking good. So we'll see. And then he went to Korea to play with LS. Like he was in like LS
Barbecue
He was LS's boy on Barbecue Chicken, where all of the allegations of
with
or
Malice.
Yeah, with
All the-
Malice and
all-
all them. Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
And then Max Waldo, like this guy, and so that's where he's listed as top lane. And then for jungle, they have Fragis, and it was supposed to be someone else, but yeah, they ended up with Fragis instead. And then for mid lane,
So Fragis is just like the garbage fucking man coming in. Oh,
number
shit.
2, just like Jizuki.
All right.
I sometimes hear number 2, and that's what it is. And for mid lane, it's a question mark, and for AD carry, it's Myungjin. So this guy is also one of the LS trainees. Like he lived, I'm guessing like he lived with LS. LS has his like own place in Korea.
Samsung, like Samsung. What was the guy's name? Revan.
Yeah, Raven.
Revan.
Yeah.
So
Revan.
this guy is like living with LS, like good in solo queue, like scrimming also with LS and his team, and then now he's playing for CLG. It looks like LS had a lot of heavy hand in making this roster come together.
Interesting. I mean, I'm surprised because he was always a mid laner, so now he's playing top. I have no clue how that's gonna go.
Apparently he's a solo laner, so maybe he'll swap to mid lane or something, but he got announced as top.
Interesting. Well, I guess we'll have to see. I mean, I haven't seen him play in a while, right? Like, I guess the 2 players that I was most hyped about from Ellis is like camp or whatever. Like Ellis is like a little whatever that was. I don't like, it was like a cult or some shit. I don't know. It was fucking weird. But
LS
like,
fans are very cult-like.
Yeah, Autumn and Malice I thought were like the 2 best ones. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't bring Malice.
We call it an LS streamer house, but it was probably LS's streamer room.
Oh wait, you can't have 2 imports in Academy, right?
Nope, just one.
Just one. So Malice can't actually come over if they're bringing over Myungjin. Wow, so they were in a situation where they could only bring over either one of LS's boys, Malice or Myungjin.
True. Yeah, I mean, I'll have to see. I have no clue about Myungjin's talent level.
Yeah.
Can't say I've seen him play.
We'll see. Now, I'm actually pretty interested in like the people LS brings up. Like, as much as people meme on him, like he has a pretty good track record of like calling out talent early, and he's like very like intertwined into like the solo queue scene in Korea, and solo queue Koreans usually are monsters. So I'm pretty curious like what these guys are gonna look like. And I'm also.
I mean, it just
go ahead.
It's weird because like when I saw like RJ's D&D God, I don't know what it is.
Alexis.
Yeah.
I just call him RJ's D&D God. Like that's just what I know him as. So when he was in NA, he was never like a super good solo queue player. Like he ended up going to Scouting Grounds once, but he wasn't like, he was like one of those players that grinded his way into Scouting Grounds. He's like, I have like 2K games and I'm 600 LP. Like I guess I'm Scouting Grounds level. I never thought he was super talented, and every single time I saw him tweet in the last year, it was just him complaining about how bad mid lane was in Korean solo queue and how jungle was OP.
Yeah.
That was just all I saw from him. So I'm surprised that like he's just getting, I mean, maybe he just hated mid lane so much he just chased the top lane. Like I guess that's what happened.
Yeah.
Well, they signed him as a solo laner, I thought, Loka.
They announced him as top, and then they have a question mark for mid. So
No. I know in the announcement they did, but they signed him before they signed everybody else as a solo laner.
But you want to go off the more recent announcement, right? Like, because maybe something changed. So, but yeah, they did sign him as a solo laner, but they kind of announced him as a top laner. So we'll see where this goes.
Makes sense.
RJ's D&D God. I casted him way back in 2014.
How the fuck do you even remember this? Oh my fucking god.
Yeah, he's one of the OGs. Him, Rakara. He's in my highlight reel. That's why when I applied to Riot, he's in my highlight reel.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's an OG. Calling him out, and there's one more. Did you ever play against Vladfire BG?
What the fuck is Vladfire BG? I don't even know who this guy
I'm
is.
asking Dom, not you.
Vladfire.
BG.
Oh yeah, I did. He was a jungle or something.
Yes, he was a jungle man.
And he played Rek'Sai.
Yes, he played Rek'Sai.
I shit on that guy all the time. Fuck that guy. He's
Yeah,
So
very good
RJ
then.
and Vladfire, I think we're on a team.
he played solo queue back when I was still good though, so I don't know how he favors me now. Like back when I actually would play fucking high elo solo queue. Now I just hit low challenger and I'm like, all right, my work here is done. Back to diamond games.
That's what I'm gonna do this play.
So
I'm gonna get a
RJ's been
master
around for a
account.
while. I think it's cool that he's getting an opportunity here in NA. Sorry about BBQ being a shitty org.
All right. Let's go to Twitch rivals. I think that's it for like the caddy announcements.
Yeah.
We should talk to enough players before they even get to show up and play.
Jesus Christ, yeah, this was really damn, I don't know what happened to me today.
This was really fun. We should talk to everybody. We should talk to each other. We were in there, man. So Twitch rivals. Logo.
Yeah.
I hopped in your chat during the show.
Yeah, keep your fucking mouth shut on broadcast. Fuck you and Monty. Fuck
so
you
bad.
and Monty and
Also,
Doa.
Monty and Doa noted how you talk so differently to them than you do to me when we're saying the same exact thing.
Well,
right?
I respect Monty and Doa in different ways than I respect you.
It's so good, dude, to see you get in there and like.
Dude, I'll be honest.
7-1 or something god awful.
I always hated the league elitist Monte. Like whenever he would talk about stuff, like I got along with him without interact with him directly, but I just hated like the way that he like he'd be like, "Ha, I fucking cast in Korea. All these NA players are shit." And it's like, dude, you're NA. Just because you went to Korea to cast doesn't mean that you're
dude,
like
let me
suddenly
tell
like
you.
better than the rest of us. It's like you weren't raised in Korean solo queue. You weren't like somebody who developed like all your knowledge like of the game in Korea. You casted in Korea. Like, why do you now have authority of everything?
That is not the mentality that both of them have. Doa is one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. The coolest part is
No, I was just talking about Monte. Yeah.
Well, they are the same way, right? On the
What?
broadcast as they are in person most of the time. Yes, like Doa is super nice.
Doa
and
is super nice.
unassuming and like curious. But he's not curious about NA solo queue. He's like, why would I waste my time doing that? I already watched the best league in the world. It was like, Jesus, both of them.
Well, I just remember like I was so tilted because Monte and Thorn used to always shit on Voy when I played on Curse, and he was the coach and Monte was the coach of CLG, right? So
Yeah.
I remember they talked all this shit about like we brought our team to Korea and they're scrimming against the best teams in the world, and when we get back to like the playoffs and LCS, we're gonna destroy these teams, whatever. And then we just like hard 3-0'd them like the second they came back. And I just remember like just going on fucking the next Summoning Insight. It just I was so excited to hear what Monte said, because it was this group of players that he said were like all kind of, well, he never actually said, he actually always talked well of me, but he always shit on Voy. He's like, Voy is shit and Cop is like a bitch and like just all this stuff, right? So I was so excited to just hear like what he was saying, what he was gonna say after we 3-0'd them right after their Korean boot camp.
What did he say?
He gave credit. He said that Voice stepped it up a lot, and he said that he thought I played well throughout the series. So I mean, it was nice, but I just couldn't wait till like he had to admit that like his team, that he would try to like, he made them seem Korean in a way, right? Like they were the first team that got a Korean import, which was Seraph, right? So they got Seraph, and then they went to Korea for 3 weeks because there was a huge break between the end of the season and quarterfinals. They actually took the last week off LCS. They fielded like a random roster with like Thinkard and Hotshot,
Baby Eater, whatever.
It was a bunch of. So they just got a bunch of solo queue players. They're like, whatever, we'll just go 0-4 this week in LCS. kha'zix played AD carry.
Monty was LS before LS.
Yeah, exactly. So I was just so happy to see them lose. I think it's the same way that people are so happy when Korea loses, like, and they go to LS and they're like, "Ha! I knew that LS was a shit analyst because Korea lost." Like people have that mentality. It just feels good to tear down the Korean fanboys.
Chat, if you can remember that CLG substitute roster, that would be sick.
It was
I think
Hotshot, Thinkard,
Hotshot mid, Thinkard,
kha'zix,
top laner,
kha'zix there, and Baby.
kha'zix, Baby Eater.
Baby.
Who's
Nien Tanzo.
Yeah, Nien.
Yeah.
Oh, was it Nien? Nien came
Dude,
back. Cool.
chat is so good for stuff like this. Whenever you need to brainstorm or whenever you need like an information check, chat is actually amazing.
Yeah, because they just say random names. They'll be like, "Haha, was it Voy Boy?" It's like, no, Voy was playing on our team, but like somebody will get it right eventually. You know, they'll just list every player.
When you need like a specific solution, Twitch chat is terrible. But when you need to brainstorm or when you need like random ideas, like chat is perfect for it.
Sure.
Sorry, Chad, you will never get individual notice because you guys can't do
But
it.
what were we talking about? Oh, Twitch rivals and Monty and Doa and flaming me. I mean, like the big story is Shadow Dogs Unleashed, right?
Yeah. Wait. No, we gotta finish. What happened to you and your team? Because
we didn't scrim that much.
You guys could do it. I honestly thought that you guys could do it.
We didn't scrim that much, and I have okay, I don't know SRO at all. I didn't know him before he drafted me, and I'm very
He
thankful.
drafted you high, too.
Yeah.
Or he drafted you and was super excited.
Yeah, I'm
Are you
very
gonna flame him?
I'm very
He's
happy
about
he
to
drafted
flame the shit out
me.
of him.
But
Welcome to Facecheck, SRO.
he was the
About to
worst
get
captain
face-checked.
out of all the captains available. Out of all
Who are
the
the other captains?
like Tyler won, like Yasuo, who else?
Cutie, Night Blue,
Cutie, Night Blue, Box.
Box
like,
Box.
What is it?
I think
I'm very thankful for SRO, but like I played a huge part in our losses, but I think we were gipped because we had on paper the worst captain.
Who's your mid laner?
Yami kha'zix. He was a talent one.
Oh
check.
yeah. Nah. That roster's doomed from the start.
Yami was pretty good. Yami. One thing that surprised me about Yami was really invested in like the team doing well. Like he booked scrims, like he was asking to VOD review, he was asking questions. Like Yami was really invested. Like yes, like it sucked playing with like 280 carry solo lanes, but like I enjoyed playing with both.
Yami had a pop off game.
Yeah.
In the one game that we watched you interface off to Tyler and Yami.
I won
popped
lane
off.
versus
That's all right.
Tyler. Shut the fuck up.
I'm biased against Yami because number one, I fucking hate Talon players. Like disgusting fucking solo queue champion. The number two, he does that MOBA fire shit where he embeds his like stream on all the guides. So you'll go to his chat, there'll be like 3 people talking, and he'll have like 9 million viewers. Like,
I was wondering why he was the 1K Andy. He did not seem like a 1K Andy.
Yeah, he has like 9 million viewers. They're all just like on a MOBA fire guide. None of them. It's fucking that shit tilts me so hard because personally, like the way I believe, like I just don't think that embedding your stream on MOBA fire should be like a way to get viewership. But that's always been my fucking that's always been my interpretation.
Who is your support?
Stun. We had really good
wait.
stun and jungle, support and jungle. We had stun and on.
So you had Stun under, right?
Mm-hmm.
How is that? How is that experience? Stun's about to be the starting LCS.
Stun's good. Stun's good, and Onda's good too. Like I
think so good. I swear to God.
I think the worst 2 players on the team were me and SRO. And Yami wasn't bad, but his pool was really limited.
What do you mean? It's only Talon. What do you mean his pool was limited? His pool was Talon.
Yeah. So.
You didn't bully him? You didn't bully him? Well, not bully him, but I mean...
No, the thing is...
like, yo, just play Orianna,
No.
play some safe mid, play Ziggs.
It's better for me to be Heimer.
Play Caitlyn.
Yeah.
It's better for me to be
Play
Heimer or like Veigar than like the other stuff.
Yeah, shit, dude. I mean, I watched Tyler 1 get like 100 CS in 20 minutes playing Heimer, be like 0-0-0 at fucking 20 minutes and get carried every game by his top side. So, you know.
Yeah, the Twitch chat was just shitting on him for every minion that he missed. So
he just doesn't like honestly that was actually really good drafting because the lane that I feel like you can stalemate the easiest right now is bot lane with champions like Heimer. Like it's really hard to punish a Heimer, even if you're much better than the player, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're much better than the Heimer is still gonna put down 3 turrets and just push every wave into the turret, and you can't gank him because if you gank him, you get 2v3'd if you have like an engaged support. So I feel like the reason why Shadow Dogs did so well is without any bans, you can't exploit the fact that they have one lane. Their weakest lane has the 2 worst players on the team, I would say. Right? I would say
special.
I think Tyler. Well, the thing is, Special is good in terms of like being like the mind of a team and keeping people focused and stuff like that. But in terms of like just mechanical beasts, right? Like Tarzan, Soligo, and Adrian, right?
Yeah.
2 of those players are top 10, or all 3 of those players are top 10 solo queue players, right? That's going to be your fucking strength. So all they had to do was survive bot and just let the top side carry every game, and they were able to do that really well.
Yeah, dude, I was pretty surprised like that team worked out because I know like Tarzan isn't the easiest person to work with, and I heard he had Adrian blocked, and him and X Special arguing was what got him kicked out of in-houses initially. So I was shocked that like that team actually came together.
I mean, I don't think like it's just the fact of the matter is this: they just won every game. You're not gonna have an issue if you're just winning every game. Like Tarzan's not the type of player. Like Tarzan's like ridiculously nice when you're winning, right? Like when I'm in solo queue with him, I'm autofill top. If I'm like even in CS and we win the game, it's like damn. Like I'll like go to his room and be like, Dom is like so fucking good autofilled. He's always reliable, you know. Like even CSing, he doesn't weigh the team down. If you lose that game, it's like Jesus Christ. It's like Dom, you peaked in season 5. You've been garbage ever since. Like fuck you. And it's like wait, we're friends, man. Doesn't fucking matter. Fuck you, Dom. You worthless piece of shit. Like it just goes. It goes to that next level. So if that team just wins over and over again, they're fine. Even when they started losing scrims, you got to see like a little bit of like how that team could actually be. So I mean,
yeah, the 12-0 I think was the
10-0.
It was
yeah.
cool that they did it, but yeah, I wanted to see that. What would happen when things go wrong? What would happen when Xpecial took one too many Zenith blades? Because Alex,
Somebody's
Alex-
getting their head broken. That's all I know. Somebody's getting their head, just caved in, I guess. I don't know.
Dude, it's
Was
a
there
new
any
renaissance
team-
for Soligo because of that. Like, everyone's talking about how good Soligo is now.
I love that. Like, people are like, Dom, you were wrong. Like, did you not see Twitch Rivals? Like, I know you said he was the worst in LCS, but he just beat, like, fucking Yami Kazi's Talon and fucking... It's like...
He won the Galio Talon matchup. What a fucking god.
It's like, this is actually people... There's people that unironically believe that I was wrong in my interpretation of Soligo's skill level in the beginning of summer based on Twitch Rivals. Like, that is actually how delusional some of the community is, because people don't understand like the level of competition and like how much that impacts your level of play, which is the same reason why if any streamer just smurfs in silver, they get like 3 times the viewers. People just want to watch you shit on everyone. They're like, oh my god, dude, Dom is so good at mid lane. I just saw him go 29 kills as Kiana versus a gold 4 player. It's like, what? How does this have any value, dude? When you're playing against people that bad, it doesn't matter, and that's essentially what Twitch Rivals is compared to LCS.
League is so relative. Whenever I play with my IRL friends nowadays, like, they'll be like, I'll stomp like normal games, or we'll play ranked flex and I'll stomp, and they'll be like, Loco, you should be pro again. I'm like, oh my god, you don't fucking understand. Like, you just don't understand. Because we're beating these players and I'm stomping, that does not mean I'm good. You don't understand.
Yeah, I get the same shit. I'll be playing fucking, like, I was climbing like a Grandmaster account. I'll be like 450 LP, beating random players with Rek'Sai, and then they'll be like, damn, dude, like, when are you going pro again? It's like, the level of this is nothing close to the level of pro players.
So Tyler 1 pops off, gets the victory. Was there another team
Pops
that
off,
surprised
okay,
either
calm
one
down.
of you guys?
TF Blaze
I mean, the
team,
team.
and like TF Blaze team was pretty good. Swifty's team kind of cheated.
I think
they replaced players like Caddy Bob, who wasn't gonna give a fuck, with Heisendong, who was actually pretty crucial in a lot of their wins. And then also they had Geronimo, and then they got to replace
Geronimo, okay.
Ooh,
whatever
try
his name.
again.
Geronimo?
Geronimo.
It's the same. Yeah, the same.
Geronimo with Gosu, who actually also popped off. So like, people getting banned actually helped that team.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that Nightblue pretty much like I don't know. Fuck,
Say it,
who am I
dog.
gonna say?
Say it,
Just
fucking
'cause
dog.
I hate.
Get in there,
I think
dog.
Nightblue just straight up just doesn't understand competitive jungling at all, and it really hurt to watch like that team communicate. Like, there was all the drama with like Revenge, and just listening to the way they talked about each other, it felt like they were just always trying to like prove that the other person was wrong, rather than discuss like who actually like what they could do to actually win, or like what the right play actually was. It seems like both their arguments were like, it's like, well, that's unlucky. Like, everything was just super passive aggressive. Unlucky that we died top to the gank that we saw through the ward, but you know, happens. Like, let's just focus on the next thing. And it's like, those like, it's supposed to just be needling your fucking top laner the whole time.
Yeah, there
Like,
was,
yeah, I guess we just didn't expect the Rek'Sai level 3 top gank. Happens. Let's focus on the next thing. And it fucking made me like cringe so much, because they're both trying to pretend like what they were saying was not supposed to insult the other person. Like, Revenge would be like, well, it would have been really good if you were here on this wave, but you weren't, so you know, I die for it, but I'm still fine top. Like, that type of shit. I don't know, man. It was really, really, really cringe to listen to. And
Nightblue lives in a fucking echo chamber. Like, last time when he played in TCS and I critiqued him, pretty similarly to like the stuff you talked about. Like, he doesn't know where to be in competitive. Like, he wasn't that great of a jungler in that TCS what is it, series? Like, his fans came after me. They're like, what the fuck? Why are you shit talking Nightblue? Like, what is it? Why are you like flaming him? Like, he's trying his best. And then like, some people were telling me I was victim shaming. Like, he played in a tournament and I'm not allowed to flame him. Like, oh my god, it was just so fucking stupid. And he bans or mutes people on Twitter and like in his chat anytime people disagree. Do you remember when you had the whole
I'm banning his chat right now.
Remember when you had like the cut the Western shit on him?
Yep.
Like, he did everything in his power to get that video down, because he wants this echo chamber of like, I'm a nice guy. Like, that's the worst part. Like, his Twitter, like, he talks about like being a nice guy, like doing the right thing. Like, that's not who you are as a fucking person. Like, you are a fucking like
He is a toxic jungler like the rest of us.
Yeah.
That is what it is.
It's just so disingenuous to his character, and that's like the bullshit part of it. Like, you can be a flamer, like you can be a little shithead, like fucking admit it, like be that person. Like, don't feed us that fucking bullshit.
I mean, I just think that it like kind of sucks, because it feels like he was really unwilling to like give the credit that should have been deserved to like the people that were playing well, right? Like after like Tarzan like broke down or whatever on stream, he ended up saying something nice, but the whole time that they were arguing about that, he's like, yeah, I'm out jungling Tarzan, right? And it's like, you're not if he's getting ganks off that work every time. Like, sure, you could blame your laners for dying, but there's certain concepts that I wish he just like was more willing to be accepting of and understand. Like the main one, I guess, was when I was watching all the scrims, like playing around waves, a huge concept in competitive play. And I was talking to Revenge about this, is as a jungler, like guiding waves into turrets, like when your lane is slow pushing away from your laner, you need to be there to either dive it or make sure that the wave resets so that your laner can back buy items and he doesn't get fucked on like every single situation. And it felt like Tarzan would gank and then re-gank, and Nightblue was just never there in the right spot to guarantee that Revenge was able to get his reset off without being punished.
Daniel, I see your fucking face. Whenever we talk trash on someone and then like Daniel feels bad, like he'll have this face, it's like a half smile, and then like he's like, oh, guys, we don't have to be this. Why can't we just love each other? Like, that's not what Radiance is about. Like, we can be there for each other. We can be a friendly show. Like, Riot loves women. Look at them. They paid $10 million to all the women out there that they harassed and kept down in the world.
Oh, God. I am using that so hard in my next cut the question shit. God damn.
Go ahead, Daniel. What's the nice shit you were going to say about Nightblue? And where are we wrong to shit talk him? Here it comes.
I think they beat TF Blade's team. They beat TF Blade's team, but we did hear the comms, so that was one thing that we did have an opportunity. So most of the time when we're casting off of the observer feed, not the player feed. And the one time that we go into the player feed, it was exactly what Dom said. It was, and then we ranted about it for 5 minutes. It was, hey, look, I'm not saying that last dragon fight was your fault. I'm just saying this is what we need to do to fix it. I was like,
God, shut the fuck up. Jesus fuck.
It's just so cancer to listen to that, because like as a competitive player, like, or somebody that's played competitive, right? Imagine your jungler having that actual attitude in a team environment where like everything is passive aggressive, everything is needling. Like, I understand it makes it worse when
What about directly aggressive? What about directly aggressive? Like, what about go fuck yourself, Lorlo, if you're gonna fucking play this way on LCS stage?
Honestly, I think that most players would prefer that. Legitimately, I think most players would prefer the direct confrontation to like the constant needling of passive aggression.
That is Lorlo, poor Lorlo, and his Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, goddamn, he's still like, if you go to Lorlo's stream, he's got battered wife syndrome. He's like, you know what? Dardoch did say some mean things, but you know, Joshy was right, and he helped me improve a lot as a player. It's like sitting there with a fucking black eye and shit. Honestly, I know he probably shouldn't have hit me, but I did learn a lot from it. It's like, oh man, like, come on, Sam. Like,
he can be a little handsy when he's drunk, but he really loves me deep down inside. When it's good, it's good.
Cancer. I can't see that anymore, man. Sam's streaming there. I know that I'm not on the team next split, but you know what we really learned is that if we try our best, good things will eventually come. It's like, they're not coming, Sam. Your career is over.
No, Sam's gonna get another shot. Sam's gonna get another shot, dude. If
you think
Palafox
so?
is still in the academy, Sam's gonna get another shot.
Yeah, but Palafox, the problem with this is you don't just start an LCS and then go down and down and down and have your every split be worse and worse and worse and then eventually get a shot again. I feel like people just are you know, off your hype train at some point.
You know what I remember about Sam? It's when Sam first started playing in LCS full-time again with like the Reignover roster, and then people were saying it's the year of Lorlo, and Kelsey Moser made an article.
Emily Rand.
Was it Emily Rand or Kelsey Moser? Like, whoever made like an article about how it's not gonna be the year of Lorlo, and then Steve went ham. Steve's like, oh, I read this article, it's fucking dog shit. Like, I can't believe like they're making this kind of judgment like about it not being the year of Lorlo. I'm like, Steve.
Then he just ended up being nice.
I'm like, dog, dude, you got fucking relegated twice that year. Like, you were in relegation tournament twice. Like, those writers knew more than you. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Oh, no. Was it Emily or was it? Oh, it was Kelsey. Sorry, Emily. I thought Emily also bought into it, but yeah. It's 2017, the year of Lorlo, Kelsey Moser. Brought to you by Yahoo Esports.
It's just one word. It's just no. And then that's okay. All right. Well, great article.
What else still exists? Oh,
it does. Yahoo Esports still exists in the Philippines.
What do you guys think about Tarzan and his ban and kind of his performance throughout TCS?
I thought he played well. I think he was the best jungler. I feel like Tarzan just has the right style to be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I'd worry about is like meta. He's going to be meta dependent. I don't think that he can play things like Lee Sin super well. He can't play like Lee Sin Nidalee. Or no, he can play Nidalee actually. Like probably like Lee Sin Rengar, that type of meta I don't think would be that good for him. So that's the only thing that's scary. It seems like right now you need a good Lee Sin to be a competitive jungler, but that could change. Like obviously Lee Sin goes in and out of the meta, but in terms of being able to play the game correctly, playing around dragons, like being like a high tempo jungler, looking for gank windows and stuff, I think he's really good at that. So I would like to see like Tarzan on a academy team eventually.
I was shocked that his comps were good. And like his knowledge was good because like I expected his mechanics to be good because I heard about like him in solo queue and I heard about like how good he is, but why is his comps and knowledge good? Like that was the part that surprised me.
That's actually how I've always viewed him. Is he's like a smart player more than like a mechanically good player. Like I think his mechanics are fine, but I think that his main advantage, the reason why he's always been super good in solo queue, is his like ideas about which lanes he should gank, which lanes he should play around, when to take objectives, like all that stuff is really clean.
That's not a normal solo queue player trait. So yeah, I was pretty surprised.
Yeah, it's not a normal solo queue player trait, but I mean, people get rank 1 by all different things, right? Like, there's not like one necessary way that you have to play to be super high rated. And if you've just like I've played against him a lot, right? I've played, I don't know, maybe 100 games of solo queue against Tarzan. I feel like he's just the type of player where he's always being efficient with his pathing, and he always knows where to be, and that's like how he gets advantages. Like he's the type of player that he'll funnel himself a lot of gold by making correct decisions. He's like the type of person that wants to gank you and take the turret. Like that's what he's gonna play off of, where other players will be more about just getting as many kills as possible. Like Surenfire, for example, would jungle more in a style where he would be trying to just get every single kill on the map. Like he was more Korean in that type of approach, I guess.
What are you gonna say, Daniel?
I was gonna say he was our MVP of the tournament. Just a player that I think was the true catalyst to Shadow Dogs being unleashed. Mm-hmm. My worry is what you said earlier, Loco, where you got a lot of players that say the right things and say, okay, I learned, I'm gonna change, I'm gonna do the right thing. And that's him. You know, he's synonymous with toxicity over the last 2-3 years. Like that is Tarzan. And even before Griffin Tarzan existed, that was Tarzan. And so and then right afterwards he gets banned. So he, in his long tweet longer, I think he said one thing that does kind of shape things for the better, but also another scare is that you're the reason why I live. You know, you made me find reason for life. Like that's suicide type talk, you know? And so like even that kind of is a little bit of a worry from a mental aspect thing. So hopefully he shapes things up and hopefully like he's able to continue to find like,
I mean, I don't really I feel like the type of thing that I don't know, it was really weird to see the community's response to Tarzan, right? Because
flip flop so hard.
Yeah, I've never seen a switch up that quick, right? Everyone was shitting on Tarzan the whole last year. You have there was the post about him win trading earlier, then there was like the post about him getting banned and all this stuff, and everyone's just been shitting on him forever. And then he's had a lot of apologies before, right? It's not like this is the first time where he's like, you know what,
this is the last time.
I'm wrong and I'm gonna change.
No, this is the last time. No,
I mean,
this is
the
last time.
For me, it's just, I don't know. I like Tarzan. I hope he changes. I don't know if he will. I'm not like any more convinced by this compared to any of the other times. I just think that like if he does change, it would be really good for NA.
I talked to a few academy players because I was shocked that Tarzan wasn't getting an academy offer. Like he's not passing Riot behavior check, and also there's like few players like you're on like Riot shit list, and Tarzan's on Riot shit list. So I'm not sure long term if he should wait out for playing competitive. I think it might not be possible at this point unless
you think he might just never be able to be cleared
once Riot makes up their mind on you. Almost impossible for it to change.
Almost.
I don't know. I don't think so. Like I was on Riot's shit list hard, and I got unbanned and played.
You were banned for a year, and like that was like outrageous, right? And then they kept you on like a really really short leash, and
kind of. I mean, I think that it just really depends on like who you piss off within Riot. I don't know how is like what's Teasa's standing within Riot right now.
Teasa?
Teasa's collegiate with Sherman.
I don't know if that's gonna be that big of it. I feel like that was the main bridge that he burned, right? Like he made his whole like he had multiple fucking emotes in his chat, Teasa 1, Teasa 2, and he would just like shit on Teasa all the time, call him fucking ugly on Twitter. Like that was like the main person that he really fucking pissed off. I don't know if that's gonna stick around. Like so for me, the person that I was against was Jason Katz, and then when Jason Katz got fired from Riot is when I was able to be reinstated into the league. I think that
but Teasa's like that's a little different. I think if a guy gets fired, then yeah, you can go ahead and move beyond that. Like Teasa's a good dude in the space, and like you're still shitting on a Riot employee, and you didn't shit on him while he was there. It was like, hey, you know what, Dom? Maybe you were right about this Jason Katz guy.
And then
maybe
problem with it is other academy teams have kind of tried to vouch for Tarzan. Like he can't even get an account in solo queue Korea. Like Riot does not like Tarzan.
Yeah, Riot doesn't like Tarzan, but then I think he's just burned a lot of bridges with players. You know, like there's certain players that it's gonna be hard for them to be like. I've had multiple because like all high elo players like normally start off on good terms, but there's been multiple people that have reached out to me that are now like playing in LCS where they're like, yeah, like they know I'm still friends with him, and they tell me not to be friends with Tarzan. They're like, dude, I'm friends with you, but you should really avoid that guy. And it's like current LCS players will tell me that type of shit. And I don't know if he just has like if people will ever give him the opportunity to really play or like really change.
Yeah.
Do you think working with Tyler helps? I mean, Tyler is
it just
to me of reformation.
To me,
it's not Tom.
This just shows that what Tyler's community can do, because you know, like Tyler is never wrong on Reddit, right? Like he'll do the most fucked up shit. He'll never like. Do you remember the Smithy thing from earlier this year?
Yeah, where he called Smithy old, ugly.
Yeah, he's like you're fucking old, you're terrible, and you're ugly as shit. Which is the same thing that I said to Chody Walrus, right? That was the same thing that I said to Chody Walrus. I was like, my girlfriend's hotter than you, like, or hotter than yours, or like.
I hope your girlfriend's hotter than him.
Yeah. I mean, me too. Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, I don't have a girlfriend anymore, but even my non-existent girlfriend would probably still be hotter than him. But either way, like, I said the same exact things. It was the same thing where it was like you're bringing personal attacks into a solo queue game, and Reddit just dick rode Tarzan the whole time. They're like, yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, Smithy is kind of ugly. So, I mean, I think that, you know, what he said was probably accurate in this situation. Like, it was so crazy to see, like, these same people that shit on me, and I had a 10,000 upvote thread about how toxic I am because because Chody Rawls flamed me in game and then I flamed him in real life. The same people were always on Tyler's side. And, like, Tarzan was the most hated streamer on Reddit this entire year, and then when Tyler vouches for him, suddenly it's like, yeah, you know what, we fucking love Tarzan. Like Tyler has so much influence within this community, and he can do no wrong. So like to me, what I learned the most about wasn't like reformation or is like Tarzan a better person. It's like how strong Tyler's community is. It literally sways the entire public perception of somebody.
I actually got swayed also, but for different reasons other than Tyler 1's community. Like before the tournament started, he called me the worst AD carry in the tournament. Probably true, but I was like, yeah, fuck this fucker. Like any kind of chance I get, I'm gonna shit talk him. And then like after like
who, Tyler or Tarzan?
Tarzan. And then like after watching him cry, when he got banned, and then like how he wants to reform, it's like this guy's just like someone that didn't really develop, someone that like shot himself in the foot so many times and like is extremely frustrated and is extremely like he's like lashing out and stuff. I can like flame him and I can be like shitty to him, but like he's going through some shit, and that's what like it humanized Tarzan the person for me. He was just for me really? Before it was like he was a fucking asshole, like go fuck yourself, like you don't deserve competitive. Now I view him as like, damn, you're someone that's really talented, like that was too immature and like didn't get help fast enough.
I'm not sure. Like I think I'm trying to be more even keel because I've always been somebody that's super pro Tarzan, but I'm trying to not view him much differently so I don't get let down if there's another Reddit thread in 2-3 months about him being super toxic or him, I don't know, boosting or win trade or like some shit, like, you know, like there's always this shit about him, right? So like I'm trying to like not let this, because I know Tarzan pretty well, and I've never actually seen him be able to not be toxic when losing in solo queue, you know? So for me, I just don't like, maybe things will change and he'll be significantly different, But I just wouldn't bank on it. Like if I had to bet, I would say that they'll probably be like hate for Tarzan in the next year. There'll be a hate thread in the next year.
My advice is stop trying to be pro.
This has been the episode where you're like, I see a lot of this person in me. I see a lot of Peter. A lot of Peter in me. We're both Asian. We're both whatever.
But me and Peter are similar.
That just didn't get help in time, and he's just so misunderstood, and he just lashes out sometimes. I see a lot of Tarzan.
I'm different. I'm just spoiled. I'm just spoiled. I wasn't really troubled. But yeah. Oh, one other topic that I did want to hit on is like there's always like talks of TF Blade or Yasuo, Mo like being pro. What's your take on that, Dom?
I was surprised how hard Revenge Man handled TF Blade in lane. Personally,
that was insane.
Like I've always known that like okay, so people are really high on solo queue for some reason. I don't know why people care so much about solo queue but so little about solo queue at the same time. Like for certain players, they'll be like, yeah, it doesn't matter. Like doesn't matter about solo queue. Like who cares? It's fucking NA solo queue. But then they'll have like TF Blade get rank 1 or Tarzan get rank 1, and they're like, damn, these are like the future players of NA. Like I don't think that a player like Kumo, for example, would be worse than TF Blade in competitive right now. I think that there'd be a big learning curve. And I've said this to TF Blade before because he thinks that he's like just going to jump straight into LCS and he'll be like one of the best tops. Mm-hmm. And I just think that it's going to take a lot. Like he's going to have to adapt to competitive play. He's going to have to play in a team environment and learn how to like expand his champion pool, because the way you get rank 1 is not the way that you end up as the best top laner, right? You can't just play like the champions that he plays aren't even good right now. Aurelia, Jax, Akali, like these are not. I guess Akali is probably the best out of those three, but those are not the top tier top laners, right? So I feel like he's gonna need to like actually spend time instead of playing for rank, playing to like expand his champ pool if he wants to go competitive, or he'll just stay as a streamer.
The thing is, like people don't understand that LP. What that number means is how good are you at playing with 4 random people against 5 other random people, and it's a completely different skill check.
Yeah, I mean, and then there's
play.
Yeah, there's also just like all this bullshit that went on in solo queue this season, right? Like solo queue meant the least this season that it ever did. There was all the problems with the LP game, the duo abusing, like all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's just completely different than actually being good. Like I remember like there was so like everyone kind of starts out being good in solo queue that ends up going pro, right? Like people will shit on Loco, right? But Loco was high rated in solo queue. Like season 1 he was higher rated than I was in solo queue. Like at the end of the season, like when I wanted to get back into competitive after I got banned, I hit rank 1 in solo queue and then went back into this. I was better at solo queue when I wasn't as good of a competitive player as when I like was peaking in competitive. Like I feel like there's just 2 different skills. Like when you're playing for LP and solo queue, you like I was like one tricking a lot of like champions that weren't even good. Like I was playing a lot of Shaco because I was like, oh shit, like these people don't know how to play against stealth champions. And I feel like TF Blade kind of plays solo queue with the same mentality where he's like, I'm gonna abuse like split pushing and bruisers because that's what people are bad at reacting to in solo queue. But in competitive, it's not the same, right? Like you can't just play Jax and Aurelia in every fucking game in competitive and get away with it. There's different metas where you're gonna need to play a role in team fights. You're gonna have to be like TPing and 5v5ing a lot, and you're not gonna be able to win the game through split. So to me, I just don't value solo queue as much compared to competitive in certain roles. Like I don't think jungle is that similar in competitive, and I don't think top lane is that similar in competitive.
Go ahead, Daniel.
No, I didn't have anything.
Oh, okay. Well, my thing is like TF Blade and Mo, like I am getting used to like the streamer lifestyle. I have a second job that I do outside of streaming, and I also like try to be more full-time with my YouTube, but it's so lax compared to what I remember my professional lifestyle. Like when I was a player, when I was a coach, like you require so much discipline, you have so little free time, like the lifestyle change is also going to hit them like a fucking
Mo will never be a pro player, all right? Like it's just not going to happen, right? Like I love Mo, he's my boy, he's probably my closest friend that's a streamer, but in reality I just don't like think he'll ever be willing to do the sacrifice. Like you have to sacrifice so much. Like he wouldn't be able to like keep his whole brand and keep his whole stream and everything. Like he's also too big of a streamer, right? There's never been a streamer of his size that has gone pro before.
You give
right?
up so much, to be
yeah.
pro.
He'd be giving up way too much. It just wouldn't make sense for him to ever go pro. I don't think.
What do you think about TF Blade being pro?
I don't think that'll happen either. If I had to guess, I would say neither of them will play pro.
I think TF Blade has the skills, but he also was gonna be a pro player. He was on some kind of black team. What was it? MLGB Black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, MLJB. There was no black in it.
Oh.
I don't know.
Well, I thought that was MLGB Black and MLGB White.
Yes.
I think it was Wait, who was MLGB White?
It was MLGB Black, and then there's MLGB White. Yeah.
I've never heard of. Okay.
Wow.
Think-
One
think-
time
I
in
think
my
it was-
life, I know more about academy teams than Dom or like amateur teams.
What? Who was on MLGB White?
I have no idea.
I don't remember, but they had two teams because they used to scrim against each other because we were in talks with TF Blade.
Hmm.
We were in talks with TF Blade at one point.
Yeah, but yeah, like TF Blade, like you're fucking.
I can't
skilled.
believe Metaphor was on MLGB Black after what he said. To be honest. Alright, that's my one joke. Alright, continue.
What does she?
Go over it quickly. Go over it quickly.
Wait, yeah, you're right. With that kind of viewpoint, he's much well suited for MLGB White.
Yeah. Holy fuck.
Anyways, yeah, I don't think TF Blade will have the discipline, like, cause playing in solo queue and playing streaming, like you can do whatever the fuck you want, and playing competitive is just a different world, and you have to make different sacrifices.
I mean, it's also that TF Blade always hits rank 1 the same way, right? He plays the same types of champions, the same type of style, and he gets rank 1 in the same fashion, right? That's different than how you end up being like the best top laner in the league. Yeah. Like if you look at somebody like Impact, right? Who, I mean, right now TF Blade's on TL. So if he was gonna get LCS time without leaving TL or breaking contract or some shit, it would be like if he was gonna get LCS time, it would be on TL. You look at somebody like Impact, and he's so much more versatile. Like he's also somebody who's always a beast in solo queue, but he can do anything, right? Like Impact has fucking played tanks and got top 10 playing like Scion and shit. He's got top 10 playing Gangplank and shit. He can play carries and hit the top of the solo queue ladder. And people think that Impact's a bad carry player, right? That's the narrative, is that he can't play carries. Well, he can hit top 10 in solo queue playing only carries. So he's a jack of all trades, and being a player like that, it's so much more scary in terms of like when you see somebody like Impact and solo queue, you're like, damn, this guy's gonna be a monster in competitive. He can play everything well. I feel like TF Blade is way more one-dimensional in terms of his play style, and we saw like playing for somebody like Revenge, and Revenge is somebody who is getting shit on. Like Revenge is getting shit on pretty hard in Academy, I'd say. Like last season, even the lanes that like even the times where he would get solo kills in lane, he would always be down CS, and he didn't have the best wave management, but he really clowned TF Blade in this tournament, right? So I think that kind of shows you like how much improvement that TF Blade would need to make. Like I think that he's smart enough to do it, but I think that it's going to be one of those things where like he's not going to want to have to go through like all the sacrifices. Like imagine if he had to stop streaming just to play Academy for a full year, just to have a hope of being LCS the year after that. I don't think that anyone's going to do that.
I don't think anyone that's never been pro really understand like how much sacrifice there is to being an actual top tier pro.
Yep.
So just double checking here, we know that TF Blade is signed to Team Liquid. I thought it was as a talent and not as a player, but he's actually in the global database, currently signed until 2020. Yep. He's also a resident, which I didn't think he was a resident, but he is.
But I think that was also like a way for him to get his visa. It was easier to do it like that. So I think that might be part of how he got his visa.
Okay. And then he's on the reserve roster, which means he's not eligible for LCS. So you can have other roster slots for players. That's what that means. But yeah, so TF Blade could go pro, but I think Loco has hit the nail on the head. A lot of streamers don't understand the lifestyle of a pro player.
And people think that you can stream and play pro at the same time because Sneaky did it. Most people can't. Like, most people can't or don't want to make... Like, I think that you sacrifice your potential skill in LCS when you stream that much.
Or your mentality, which is why you have quiet Afro-Move streams.
I like, for me personally, I didn't think... Like, my stream was doing pretty well when I was in LCS, like, Season 4, Season 5. And I literally would just not stream once the season would start. I would just be like, all right, see you guys in 10 months. And then I would stream again after.
Sounds like Bjergsen.
Yep.
All right. Anything else you guys want to hit on? I think that's enough for Twitch Rivals. And we actually did
Twitch Rivals is so Twitch Rivals did so well.
Mm-hmm.
So this is news that they didn't have one planned until the final game of the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So They planned one on the fly, and so now it'll be announced, or I think it'll be announced in January. They're going to do the next one.
Yeah, they're gonna.
So
They said they're gonna
regular
draft again.
draft.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be regular draft.
Draft me, boys.
It'll be a draft show and all that stuff. So
Draft Loco for regular draft.
yeah, Dom, you're going to be a captain. I assume you're going to be a captain because you're way closer to being captain than Loco is. Would you draft Loco?
Would I draft Loco? I mean, if I
After
didn't
his
want to win, sure.
0-6 performances. This is Coach Loco. Can't play Heimerdinger for shit. You talked about how easy it was to play Heimerdinger and play
Daniel, your
a
platform.
non-invasive bot lane.
Your platform. Shut the fuck up. But yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm also your professional host.
realistically,
I
like,
got to
yeah,
watch
I
you
mean-
get booty blasted by Tyler One in a fucking mirror match Heimerdinger. Tyler doesn't play Heimerdinger either, dude.
I mean, he does, but it's like,
Now,
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'd probably just, it would depend on my mentality. If I was going like full troll, it depends. Like if I thought my team was doomed from the start, then I would pick Loco so I had a scapegoat so I could flame him and be like, of course I didn't win. I'd fuck Loco. But if I was like really trying to win, probably not.
What if I hit Masters before? What is it? season
Masters?
starts? Yeah.
Bro, I'm about to hit Masters as a mid laner.
Me
I'm
too.
about to autofill myself to fucking Masters. What does that mean? That
What
doesn't
if I
mean
hit
shit.
Grandmasters?
Grandmasters is like 100 LP over Masters. It's like,
Okay. What's
dude,
your
if you hit
cutoff? What's
challenge-
your cutoff?
if you hit low Challenger, I would consider it.
So if I hit Challenger, let's just say Challenger. Okay.
Yeah, if you hit Challenger, I would consider it.
No,
Yeah,
not
sure.
consider. Give me the spot. Give me the spot if I hit Challenger.
All right, you're pushing it here, Loco. I would consider
we're
it. all
we're
right?
about to have another Yasuo fucking trick situation here, man. What the fuck?
Dom was
Get
my
those
friend.
snakes ready, boys.
We do the show every Monday. He snaked me, guys.
Yeah,
Who,
exactly. No, the difference is I'm not a snake because I'm telling you to your face that you're dog shit and I wouldn't pick you. All right, I didn't try to like hey, yeah, maybe we'll play together, bro. Like who knows? No, I'm fucking
for
telling
the
you
content.
to your face what the situation is.
All
Like,
I want for
that's-
Christmas.
That's
is
how
to
you know I'm
play
a real
Twitch
one
rivals.
right there. Okay.
I hope I get
Also-
that one present I want for Twitch Christmas. A Twitch rival spot. Oh geez, I hope my friend Dom can pull through for me. I'm gonna play this year.
Yeah. All right. Sure.
I also say that this was pretty cool to have an amateur tournament. I'm excited to see what the TCS is going to be like. So
Yeah,
it's
I'm excited
slightly
to
different.
fucking play another one because like the last time I played a Twitch Rivals was the Europe one versus El Mayor. So
Oh, Mayor.
yeah, that guy. I mean, he was, and he shit talked me in person. He said that he was gonna shit on me, and then he went 1-9 with Fiddlesticks. Like when I played versus him, it was kind of sad. But I mean, I just like want to play again because I feel like I don't know. I feel like people think that Twitch Rivals means more than it is. So
All right.
Yeah.
Anything else
That's
we
it.
want to hit on, or are we done? Wow. I actually am surprised. Like the show like flowed so well, despite like us not having like a lot of things going on.
it's just it can always. I mean, if we just start insulting people, it can last for 3 hours, no problem. So.
I
So
love
what it
watching
is.
Daniel tilt as we insult people. That's my favorite part.
Please,
That's
dude,
my
come
favorite
on.
part about insulting people. Watching Daniel's reaction.
I
so
feel like
stressful.
I don't even look at Daniel. Like honestly, when he started typing in the group chat, I thought he was gonna tell me to stop flaming people.
No,
When he was
no.
like list out some players that haven't been signed. I was like, oh man, I'm going too hard, aren't I? Look, it's just better
as soon as
content
they
if I
start
flame.
Going,
That's
I'm
what
like,
telling you.
man, we are just one expletive away from ending it all here. when you wound up the Jizuki thing, I was like, oh no.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's very important that we stay right on the edge. It's not good if we cross the line,
Yeah.
but if we're right on the line, or we can make the argument like, oh, we didn't cross the line, we were like
Look,
tiptoeing around it.
Kha'zix
That's when the
edgy,
show is
Kha'zix
good.
edgy, we're
Look, I'm
okay.
telling you, the line is just like racism, sexism, ageism, like, that type of shit. Like that's the line. Anything where it's just like this guy is fucking bad, like that, I think that's fine.
Sorry, Saligo.
Yep.
Well, I can't wait to kick
we should
up,
we should tell Chad about like Saligo Watch, and like when we started Saligo Watch, Daniel was like, "This is gonna ruin his life as a player. I don't want to be responsible for destroying a young player's career." I'm like, Daniel, we're literally just having like a section on our show where we talk about Saligo every week. This will not
We
ruin
weren't
his
talking
career.
about Saligo. We were hard shitting on him, and he did nothing.
Yeah, I was
to
flaming him
us.
pretty hard. Yeah, he did
Yeah,
nothing
you
to
flamed him
well,
super
no.
You're right. He did nothing in LCS. That's exactly why we should.
No. The thing was that this is where we disagreed. Is I believed that because I was forced to watch Ligo play and I had to witness that, like he personally harmed me. So me like flaming him back was just natural like progression. It just made it even. It's like I had to watch you play, so now I get to flame you. That was what I thought.
All right, Daniel, you can end the show.
All right, guys, it's been fantastic. If you stuck with us all 3 hours of shit talking Academy players, good to catch you guys at some point next week.
Yeah,
next
probably.
week. Next week, Monday, hopefully.
All right. Next week, Monday, collegiate. Come watch some collegiate action.
No, we're not
going to
talk about collegiate. Fuck no.
All Stars as well coming up, and then TCS sometime in December, and then let's see, and then was it Twitch Rivals at the very beginning of next year. So make sure you stay tuned, and obviously we'll be here talking smack, and we'll finally set those final rosters and do some tier lists and all that good stuff that you guys love. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys later.
Bye.
You had to end it on a fucking bye.